not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. Let hope arise and make the darkness hide. My faith is dead, I need a resurrection somehow. No, I'm lost in your freedom. And this world I'll overcome. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. He's roaring. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion.
At break of day, in hope we rise, we speak your name.
Good morning and welcome to the King's Report this Friday, August 4th, 2017, 8th year of Chungi, 6th month, 13th day by the heavenly calendar. I am your host, Cheongjin Sean Moon, the second king of Cheongguk. Let's first go to Tim, the agent elder, for our AccuWeather forecast. Tim.
It's 63 degrees and a little bit foggy outside again today. We have lots of fog being in the river valley here. And it's going to be pretty much like it was yesterday. High of 85, a thunderstorm around 3 o'clock, another one late at night.
Thunderstorm around 3 o'clock?
In the afternoon.
Okay.
Yes. And then another one probably after most of us have gone to bed. Not just me, but everybody else too. About 1 a.m. I think. Yes.
Now, will it rain in the morning?
And this morning,
Yes.
there's some chance. And I think there may be a few drops falling now, but
Okay.
but not enough to really worry about.
All right. So
I'm
we
sure
have,
I think you can train outside in the morning.
yeah, all the kids have helped in moving the mural, which I have to finish that today. And we got to move some stones today. A lot of physical labor, even after last night's training. Everybody's sore, but you got to do what you got to do.
And I noticed driving up that now there's a light on the 154. Yes. I'm thinking, what is this? Am I seeing a vision?
Well, not only, if you're mindful, Tim, you would see this not only on the 154, Look outside, you'll see it on the white stone garden with Jesus on the boat.
Well, I haven't been out there yet.
Yes. You'll also see as you come in.
Yes.
Okay,
On the,
all these lights are on
Yes, yes,
on
yes.
the trees and everything. And those are actually solar lights. And yes, we had to order from Amazon.com for that. Oh,
That must have been painful.
that was very painful. Doug said you just got to close your eyes and press the button. Because I went probably a month without ordering anything from Amazon.com. A month and maybe a month and a half of them. Just not order anything, right? And get everything from eBay.
Well, I hope Jeff Bezos uses the money for a good purpose.
He's a bastard. He's a total bastard. And what we found ordering from eBay too. Some of these companies have stores both on eBay and Amazon, and I received one of them packages that we ordered from eBay came by Amazon. What the hell? You see what I'm saying? This guy is a complete monopoly. It's ridiculous. These people are just so ridiculous how they cheat and defraud the public. Bezos must be broken up. Okay? It's just, I don't know how Trump's even going to get to Bezos. I mean, with all the insanity he has to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
I'm sure it's on his
entire
to-do list.
government coming up against him. It's just ridiculous. I was just mentioning, it's just so stressful to look at this stuff every day. It's absurdity. Oh my goodness. My Lord. Anyways, okay, so since we're calling on the name of the Lord right now, let us go to our Rhema this day. And we are in John chapter 8 and 31. And it is a section called "The Truth Shall Make You Free." Then Jesus said to those Jews who believed him, "If you abide in my word, you are my disciples indeed. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." They answered him, "We are Abraham's descendants and have never been in bondage to anyone. How can you say you will be made free?" And Jesus answered them, "Most assuredly I say to you, whoever commits sin is a slave of sin. And a slave does not abide in the house forever, but a son abides forever. Therefore, if the Son makes you free, you shall be free indeed." Amen. Jew. Oh, that's such a healing word. As I pore over the crazy news, that is such a healing word from the Word of God. Oh my gosh. You know, I'm reminded of a young person who came to Sanctuary, and I was talking with Cook Joe, and I was having two conversations at the same time. I was trying to listen to what Cook Joe was saying, but at the same time I had people over here and they were talking, so I was talking with them at the same time. So I heard just pieces of it, but Cook Joe was having a conversation with this young person, and this person was saying that he was agnostic, and probably a good kid. Seemed like a nice boy, but theologically confused, and it was saying that he's agnostic, and so Cook Joe said, "Oh, okay, then you're a slave. Good, you're a slave. Congratulations, you're a slave." He said, "You don't believe in God?" He's like, No, not really. And he's like, "Okay, then you're a slave." And that was shocking. I think it was shocking to that young person. It was true, but shocking. And then, of course, he went on to explain about, and then I heard them talking about guns and, why it's, that the slave class has never been able to arm itself. It's never been able to defend itself. Anyways, long story short, Cook John, I think, had a nice talk with him, and I think he was thankful for the discussion. He actually thanked him. It's good that at least he came to hear what Cook Joe said. But I think he genuinely appreciated it. Hopefully he did, or at least hopefully it became a seed for him to reflect on the, philosophy that he's adopted. It's unfortunate. Many of these young children are victims of an establishment or a pop culture or a celebrity cult that basically tells them you have to be atheist or agnostic to be cool. And we talked about this during the Korean service, didn't we?
Yes.
that video on Dr. Hugo Ross. Guys, look up Dr. Hugo Ross and his video on actually the order in which creation is delineated in the scripture matches up with what science is saying about different layers of material that formed during the cosmological Big Bang, etc. In any case, Dr. Hugo Ross was saying that in the scientific community, there used to be 99.9%, literally 99+% agnostic, atheist. They scoffed at the idea of a theistic philosophy. They scoffed at the idea of a God. They scoffed at the idea of intelligent design. They scoffed at the idea of an intelligent designer, okay? And they believed that science would definitively prove that religion is mythology, that it's just compensation for psychological weakness. It's compensation for human beings' lack of understanding of life and death and or what happens to you after you die. And so people make up these gods and make up these religions to comfort themselves psychologically, so they can deal more sufficiently with certain traumatic life experiences. Now, if you've taken sociology, you've most certainly heard this indoctrination. Okay? So they were so confident in the 1980s and before that science would definitively prove the non-existence of God, and that evolution and the scientific, quote, framework of atheism would be proven scientifically and by the scientific method. They were so adamantly sure about that, okay? Now, what's so amazing is that if you saw an increase from 99+% to 5%, 6%, well, that would be from 100% to 600% increase, okay? And that would be massive. That would be a massive change in the scientific community, because they were all assuming it's going to actually go down. You know, the belief in God will actually be reduced. Just the fact that it increased 100%, 200%, 300%, and just goes the opposite direction, and you have more scientists believing that God exists or some intelligent mind exists, would be tremendous. Even if you went up to 5%, from 0.3 to 5%, that would be massive. That would be a massive shift in the scientific community, because they were all predicting it would go actually the opposite way. It would go to basically nil. What's so shocking now in the scientific community, quote, scientific community, guess what? Didn't go to 6%, didn't go to 8%, which would be phenomenal, or even 10%, that would be ginormous. The scientific community now is up to 25% theistic believers now. In fact, some of the top well-known physicists like Michio Kaku at the University of, what is he at?
NYU, I think.
No, he's not at NYU. He's at the New York University, State University or something like that. Anyways, he is one of the most famous physicists in the world. He is the one responsible for string theory. And he's on the Discovery Channel and all these, channels all the time, talking about physics and the nature of the world and the universe, etc. The God particle.
CUNY, is that C-U-N-Y?
CUNY.
City University of New York. Yeah.
Right. Even he is now saying he believes in intelligent mind or designer. Now, that is a massive, massive shift in the scientific, quote, community. Moving from less than 1% to 25% who say they now believe in God. That's like a 2,500% increase plus. That's a massive increase. They were so sure that it would go towards zero. In fact, it's moved away from zero, and the numbers who believe if they're honest with the science and the evidence, that there is an intelligent designer, it is inescapable. And as they pursue science more, they will only see that increase. Because there's so much design activity, so much design framework in the mitochondria, to the DNA structure, to the genome sequence. You name it, everything in this universe is designed. There's a mathematical structure to the universe. There's mathematical formulas like the Fibonacci spiral, which I did a whole presentation on many years ago. Everything is mathematically designed. I mean, it's like ridiculous. It would be literally looking at this house and say this came together by chance, which is utterly outrageous and unscientific. Okay. And in my presentation on Is There God, Is There Not God, mainly based on the work of William Lane Craig, we go to the work of William Dembski. We go through all these probabilities. We go through, etc. You name it. Okay. The more people study science and in that community, the more they become believers in God. Even though they vehemently wanted to resist that. Even though they wished on their biggest lucky charm that God wouldn't exist, or that this intelligent design, they literally laughed at you if you said intelligent design. They thought it was a total, like they would laugh at you in their arrogant white towers. But now, amongst themselves, they are now forced, at least the honest ones, are forced to accept the fact that this cannot happen by chance. Now, I don't know how we got there, but yes.
Truth shall make you free.
It's truth and slave. Once you realize that there's an intelligent designer, a creator of the universe, if there is a creator, then that creator has created you. Then if that creator has a certain personality or set of ethics, you are then morally accountable to that creator. You have an owner, you have a genesis, you have a source from which you came. You're not just a source of impersonal events, which essentially makes you an animal, which essentially makes you just a beast that's floating around on a dusty particle in outer space somewhere. Totally irrelevant. Whether we murder, do genocide, or love our neighbor means crap in the cosmology of an atheist. It means that anything we do is actually completely irrelevant. And when you realize that not only historically have slaves never been able to own property and or guns, even before the advent of guns, weapons to defend themselves, they didn't have no rights, you understand? Well, you can't get these rights from people. Rights, if they come from people, they can be erased by people, can be taken away by people. But your rights must come from God. If they come from an intelligent designer creator, the creator of the universe, nobody can take them from you. They are inalienable. They are inseparable, insuperable. I like that word, insuperable. Nobody can trump them, okay, when they come from the creator. They're inalienable. And as science now points more and more to an actual creator and a creative mind, those who believe in God are vindicated. Those who believe in Scripture, which was written 5,000 plus years ago, how do they know the structure of the creation of the Big Bang? How do they know that? I mean, it's not possible to know. The more we study about science, the more the biblical truth comes out. And the more people who actually believe in God are vindicated. Now, I'm not saying 25% of all the scientific community are believers in Jesus. But they've come a long way saying, okay, we believe in an intelligent mind. That's huge. They're now saying they believe in a creator. That's massive. 1 out of 4 scientists now are saying they believe in a creator. That's phenomenally huge. But of course, they're still resisting Yeshua HaMashiach. They still want to say, well, it could be any other creator. It could be, none of these mythologies. But you look at the nature of Jesus, and you look at all these other gods, which are totally fake and just filled with narcissism and sickness. But you look at the Christian God, which produces goodness, which produces sacrifice, which dies for those who persecute him, and of course people who have sinned. I mean, you look at the type of love that this God exemplifies. And then the people who follow him try to be as such, try to be protectors of the weak and the poor and the meek, try to be humble, for the meek or the humble shall inherit the kingdom of God. Try to emulate him in his sacrifice of putting himself on the cross and walking a hard path for the suffering and liberation of others. I mean, this is a virtuous God. This is a patient God. This is a God that instills in us virtue, okay, not narcissism and self-seeking pleasure and hedonism like Zeus and these demonic, adulterous, bestiality gods. I mean, these are horrible, horrible deities. But a God that is in line with the nature of the universe. A God that aligns with justice and moral mathematics. That means there's some structure to morality. There's some structure to justice, just like mathematics has structure. And it has irrevocable truths like numbers, which cannot not be the number 1 or the number 2, lest the whole mathematical universe collapse. You understand? Mathematics has structure. It has logic. It's not abstract. It exists. It exists. And understanding God, a God that has structure, makes sense. Also, that touches the deepest nature of our own conscience, which yearns for justice, which yearns for fairness, which yearns for goodness, which yearns to not see vulnerable people be exploited, to not see the poor exploited by politicians. Our natural inclination and conscience, which yearns and is enriched when we hear stories of such things. Why does our soul and our conscience delight in those kind of stories? Because we naturally want justice. Not just instinctually, not just by evolutionary byproducts, but because it is a fundamental nature of who we are, made in the image of God, and fundamental nature of who God, our Creator, is. An intelligent being, an intelligent individual, an intelligent personality, an intelligent creator. Isn't that interesting? Mm-hmm. But if we don't have God, and if you are in the cult of not believing in God, well, you now are a slave. You only can be a slave to the establishments and power structures of the world. You can only be a slave to the masters of the world. You can only be a slave to the Davos Group, Bilderberg Group. And even though you don't know it, you still are. You're beholden to them. It is our faith in God that gives us the philosophical and existential starting point for our human rights, for our human value, for our purpose of existence, and for meaning. Meaning in this wide, wide universe. We'll be right back after a short break. Stay with us on the King's Report.
I'm down here at the range today. I just learned a new technique from the father of the .44 Magnum, Elmer Keith, which is called shooting out of the notch, which allows you to make really long distance shots and still have an extremely precise sight picture. So I brought my CW9 car down, and with this little gun, we're gonna shoot this little munchkin at 200 yards up in the hills, applying this technique, and hopefully we'll make the shot. To apply this technique, instead of using the blade of the front sight lined up with the top of the rear sight, I'm going to take the dot of the front sight and raise it up so that it's out of the notch, but I'm still going to keep the front sight on my target. Bringing that front sight up like that is going to compensate for the bullet drop over that excessively long distance with just this little gun. So if applied right, we should be making contact. Let's see how it goes. I saw this shot, so I'm a little bit out of breath because you gotta run to make sure that is what I thought it was, and it was. So while making this shot, from that distance with these white dot sights, it literally would cover the entire target. You couldn't see what you were shooting. So using the Elmer Keith technique, you were able to raise it out of the back notch, I can't breathe, out of the back notch, allowing you to keep your accuracy, aim, and also still see the target, which is key because it was a hard shot, not gonna lie. But yeah, it went great, and Elmer knows what he's talking about. And for such a small gun to be able to take that hit, I'm very impressed with this. All right, guys, be sure to like and share, and I'll see you out on the range. That was awesome. Hey, can I try that one? Yeah, let's see with the 380. Does everybody have eyes and ears?
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report this Friday, August 4th, 2017. I am your host, Hyungju Sean Moon, the second king of Cheongguk. Let's go now to Mrs. Kang for her word and scripture and her rima today for our Holy Spirit moment. Let's go with Mrs. Kang.
3절에서 5절이죠. 3절, 17장 3절에서 5절. Mrs. Kang is in John chapter 17 this morning, verses 3 through 5. And this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom thou hast sent.
Wow.
I have glorified thee on the earth. I have finished the work which thou gavest me to do. O now, Father, glorify thou me with thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was.
Ooh, Lord mercy. Wow.
말씀하십시오.
네,
Be satisfied.
안녕하십니까.
Good morning, everyone.
오늘 여러분들에게 말씀드릴 내용은 예수님의 그 마지막 기도인 요한복음 17장에 있는 말씀입니다.
Today I'd like to talk to you about Jesus' final prayer, which is recorded in John chapter 17.
그때 예수님은 제자들을 비롯하여 서기관, 제사장, 바리새인 교인들이 영생에 대한 문제를 가지고 질문을 많이 했습니다.
At that time, the disciples and the Jewish leaders, the Pharisees and Sadducees, were asking a lot of questions to Jesus about the spirit world.
그때 예수님께서는 뭐라고 대답을 하셨는가 하면은 영생은 유일하신 참 하나님과 그가 보내신 자 예수 그리스도를 믿는 것이 영생이니라, 아는 것이 영생이니라, 이렇게 대답을 했습니다.
And Jesus answered them that eternal life is about knowing the true God and the Christ whom He has sent, knowing and to believe in God and the true and Christ.
십자가를 앞에 두고 참 예수님은 고민도 많이 하시고 또 더 나아가서 반대하는 무리들 속에서 도를 전한다는 것은 퍽 괴로운 일도 많았던 것입니다.
When Jesus was faced with the cross, he went through a great deal of suffering because it was very difficult for him to open a path for salvation in the midst of so much opposition.
그래서 예수님께서는 아버지께서 아들에게 주신 모든 사람에게 영생을 주게 하시려고 만민을 다스리는 권세를 아들에게 주셨습니다 하고 기도했습니다.
And so Jesus prayed that God had given him the power over all flesh, it says in verse 2, that he should give eternal life to as many as thou hast given him.
그래서 예수님은 하나님 아버지 내게 주신 사람을 한 사람도 잃지 않고 나로 하여금 이들이 영생을 얻을 수 있는 길을 갈 수 있게 해달라는 그 마지막 십자가를 앞두고 기도하셨던 내용이었습니다.
And so when Jesus was faced with the cross, he prayed to God that the way could be opened up so that each and every one of the people that had been entrusted to him by God could be saved, could receive eternal life.
그는 기도하기를 아버지여 창세전에 내가 아버지와 함께 가졌던 영화로서 지금도 아버지와 함께 나를 영화롭게 하옵소서 하면서 그는 참 눈물 어린 심정으로 기도하셨던 것입니다.
And so in verse 5, he prayed, O Father, glorify thou me with thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was. And he prayed this prayer in tears.
저도 무슨 사건이나 기도할 문제가 생기면은 예수님께서 마지막 십자가를 앞에 두고 기도하셨던 이 내용을 읽어보면은 정말로 눈물 어린 심정으로 기도하지 않으면 안 되었던 때가 한두 번이 아니었습니다.
There have been times in my life, Mrs. Kung says, when I've had something to pray about, some issue that I needed God's help. And when I did, I would sometimes go to the Bible and read Jesus' prayer, Jesus' final prayer. And reading that, realize it helps me to realize that when I pray about these things, I need to pray sincerely from the bottom of my heart and with tears.
예수님은 가시는 곳곳마다 아버지의 이름을 거룩히 여기심을 받을 수 있는 길을 열기 위해서 많은 분들에게 전도를 했던 것입니다.
Every place that Jesus went during his course, he witnessed to people, evangelized people to glorify God and to make his name holy.
기도하실 때마다 그는 정말로 자기가 중심이 되어 기도한 것이 아니었고 정말로 어떻게 하면은 아버지의 뜻을 이루고 한 사람이라도 하늘편에 세우기 위해서 아버지여 이들을 정말로 내게 맡기셨으니 끝까지 이들과 더불어 함께 할 수 있게 해달라는 간절한 기도를 하셨던 것입니다.
We see that every time Jesus prayed, he did not put himself at the center. Rather, he would pray saying that, God, you've entrusted these people to me, so let me stay with them, let me remain with them until the end, until they can go the way of salvation and eternal life.
그래서 그는 내가 아버지의 이름을 나타내었습니다. 그렇게 기도를 하시고 또 그 방향으로 그들을 이끌기 위해서 많은 핍박과 참 고난을 당하시면서도 그는 낙심하지 않고 환난 중에서도 기도하고 핍박받는 그 자리에서도 기도하는 심정으로 그들과 더불어 호락을 같이 했던 것입니다.
In verse 6, Jesus says, I have manifested thy name. And this is what he did. He manifested God's name to everyone that he met and that to everyone that would listen to him. And he worked because he had been given responsibility over all humanity by God, and he wanted so much to be able to open the way to salvation for them.
그래서 이 요한복음 17장을 보면은 예수님도 영적으로 참 밝으신 분이었고 또 더 나아가서 영적으로 그는 전도를 하셨던 것입니다.
We can see in this chapter 17 of John how much of how bright a spirit Jesus had, and that how he was witnessing to people spiritually in the spiritual realm.
그래서 예수께서 말씀하신 내용을 보면은 아버지의 말씀을 나는 지키었습니다. 그러니 이 지킨 내 이 심정을 보고라도 내게 주신 사람은 한 사람도 사탄에게 빼앗기지 않고 보존해서 이들과 더불어 오늘 이 땅에 그때 당시죠. 이 땅에 하나님의 나라와 하나님의 세계를 꼭 찾아 세울 수 있게 해달라고 그는 간절히 기도했던 것입니다.
And so in this prayer, Jesus says, I have done the things that you have asked me to do. So please, don't let a single one of these people be taken over to Satan, but rather let them go the way of salvation.
그래서 기도하면서 어떻게 말씀하셨는고 하면은 내가 그들을 위하여 비옵나니 내가 비옵는 것은 세상을 위함이 아니고 내게 주신 자들을 위함이니이다. 그들은 모두가 아버지의 것이니 아버지가 이들을 지켜달라는 간곡한 기도를 하셨던 것입니다.
In verse 9, he says, I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. This is an incredibly urgent request to God that each and every single person be able to receive salvation.
내 것은 다 아버지의 것이요 아버지의 것은 다 내 것이온데 내가 그들로 말미암아 정말로 영광을 받았으니 영광을 나타낼 수 있게 해달라는 한곡한 심정에 마지막으로 십자가를 앞두고 기도하셨던 것입니다.
And then verse 10, and all mine are thine, and thine are mine, and I am glorified in them. These were the words that he was speaking as he was about to go to the cross.
예수님께서는 나는 이제 세상에 더 있지 아니하오니 그들은 세상에 있사옵고 세상에서 살고 있지만은 나는 몇 날이 남지 아니하였으니 이제 나로 하여금 정말로 아버지께로 내가 가옵니다. 걸어가신 아버지여 내게 주신 아버지의 이름으로 그들을 보존해서 정말로 나와 같이 그들도 하나가 되게 해달라는 간곡한 기도를 하셨습니다.
In verse 11, and now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world, and I come to thee. Holy Father, keep through thine own name those whom thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are.
그래서 저도 기도할 때 늘 정말로 아버지와 하나 되게 해달라는 하나님 아버지, 내 안에 오셔서 역사하시며 내가 아버지 안에서 하나 되게 해달라는 기도를 할 때가 많았습니다.
And Mrs. Kang also, when she would pray, she says that I would pray that I could be one with God, that God would dwell. I would pray for God to dwell within me, so that I could be one with Him.
참 아버님이 내 안에 오시고 내가 아버지 안에서 정말로 일체 이상을 이루어서 살 수 있는 그 아름다운 생이 되게 해달라는 기도를 지금도 매일 하고 있습니다.
Today, now too, every day I pray, she says, so that true Father can dwell within me, and that I can be in Him, so that we can have a unity as one body.
또 예수님과도 그렇습니다. 예수님, 내 안에 오시옵소서. 나도 예수님 안에서 정말로 둘이 아닌 일체 이상을 이루어서 무엇을 하든지 동행, 동사, 동역해달라는 간곡한 기도를 하게 되면은 예수님의 이 마지막 기도가 늘 떠오를 때가 많이 있습니다.
And I also pray that Jesus can come within me and dwell within me, that I can dwell within Him, so that we can establish the ideal of one body. And when I pray to Jesus like this, I'm often reminded of this prayer, His last prayer on earth.
그래서 아버지요, 아버지께서 정말로 내 안에 계시며 나는 아버지가 원하시고 바라시고 소원하시는 일들을 행할 수 있게 해달라는 간절한 기도를 하시면서 정말로 눈물을 흘리시면서 기도하셨던 것을 생각해 보면은 오늘 우리의 가슴 속에도 하나님과 하나가 되고 또 더 나아가서는 아버님과 하나가 되고 예수님과 하나가 되고 영계가 하나가 되어서 우리가 지날 때에 정말로 아버지가 내 안에 계시고 또 참 아버님이 내 안에 찾아오시고 예수님이 내 안에 오셔서 일체 이상을 이룰 때는 만 가지가 모두가 다 이루어진 성사되어진 승리하여진 그 자리에 설 수 있는 것입니다.
In this prayer, Jesus is praying for the world, and that even though He is leaving the world, the physical world, that God will protect those who are still in the world. And I also pray that Jesus can be within me, that our true Father can be within me, so that we can establish that ideal world here.
아버지여 내게 주신 자도 한 사람도 버리지 마시고 나에게서 떠나지 마시고 정말로 함께 갈 수 있고 함께 천하라에 같이 갈 수 있게 해달라는 일체 이상을 이룬 그런 기도를 간절히 하셨던 것입니다.
Jesus prayed that that the people who is leaving on the earth would be protected from evil, and that they would be able to go together into the kingdom of heaven.
그래서 예수님께서는 정말로 내가 아버지의 이름을 그들에게 진심으로 알 수 있도록 나로 하여금 교육할 수 있게 해달라는 마지막 기도를 하시면서도 이런 간절한 심정을 가지고 기도하셨던 것입니다.
And it's the heart of that Jesus expressed here is incredibly sincere and urgent. That he until his last breath is teaching people the name of God and asking God to open the way for salvation.
그래서 아버님의 말씀 선집을 보게 되면은 1권에서부터 10권까지는 정말로 아버님께서는 예수님에 대한 간곡한 심정을 가지고 기도하셨어요. 그래서 저는 이 세상에서 예수님을 제일 사랑하신 분이 누구냐 하면은 우리 아버님이시었다는 것을 절실히 나는 느꼈던 것입니다.
We see the first 10 volumes of Father's collected sermons and words. We see that he expresses in those 10 volumes an incredible love for Jesus. And I think that no one in the world loved Jesus more than Father.
예수님에 대한 간곡한 심정을 가지고 기도하시고 말씀하실 때는 언제나 통곡을 하시면서 기도하시고 말씀을 하셨어요. 그래서 정말로 겨울이라도 아버님이 설교하실 때 보게 되면은 두꺼운 잠바가 다 속까지 땀에 젖어서 정말로 눈물로서 적시어서 술에다 갖다가 널지 않으면 안 되겠습니다. 그 정도로 눈물을 흘리시고 통곡하시고 가심치시면서 기도하셔서 예수님을 제일 사랑하시는 분이 우리 아버님이셨다는 것을 저는 뼈살에 스며오는 그런 심정으로서 아버님이 얼마만큼 참 뜻을 세우기 위해서 통곡하시면서 걸어오셨다는 것을 저는 많이 체휼했던 것입니다.
When Father would speak about Jesus, or when he would pray about Jesus, he would do so in tears. So much so that the jacket that he was wearing would become soaked in tears. And Father loved Jesus so much in that way. And so I saw firsthand how much Father loved him. And he was certainly the person who loved Jesus more than anyone in the world.
기성교인들은 말하기를 통일교회도 예수를 믿느냐 성경을 보느냐 이런 얘기를 하지만은 정말로 아버님은 참 예수님을 사랑하시는 분이었고 더 나아가서는 성경의 말씀을 가지고 말씀하실 때마다 통곡하시면서 말씀하셨던 그때가 그리워집니다.
People in the established denominations say, do you in the Unification Church read the Bible? Do you believe in Jesus? But I remember how much Father truly loved Jesus, and I long for those days when I heard Father speak that way.
그래서 한날은 아버님께서 무슨 말씀을 하셨는고 하면은 저 용문산에 가면은 나운몽 장로가 지금 수만 평에다가 천막을 치고 지금 부흥회를 하고 있는데 우리도 부흥회 가서 좀 참석을 하자. 그래서 그때에 1900 그때가 53년도였어요. 그래서 8사람이 떠났던 것을 기억하고 있습니다.
One day in 1953, Father said, there's a lay leader of an established denomination having a revival over on that mountain. Let's go and join them. And so 8 of us went with him to join that revival meeting.
그래 김천 경상북도 김천이에요. 김천이 용문산과 가깝습니다. 김천에서 내려서 걸어서 어디를 가는고 하면은 용문산에를 8사람이 갔어요. 옥시어머니, 승도어머니, 정권사, 또 이한성이라는 남자, 천주교 신부, 나, 김재곤 권사님 이렇게 해서 8사람이 거기를 갔습니다.
And so we took a train and got off at the Kimcheon station, which is near the Yeongmunsan mountain where this revival was being held. And 8 of us went with Father then. Mrs. Ok came down from Father, and Mrs. Sungdo came down from, both of them came from North Korea. They were with Father in North Korea. And also a Catholic priest was with us also, and a man named Lee Han-sun was with us, and Kim Jae-gun. And we all went, 8 of us went there to this revival meeting.
우리가 찾아갔더니 용문산 나장로도 정말로 영통하는 사람, 지금은 뭐 세상 떠난 지 오래됐습니다마는 영통하는 사람이었어요. 그래서 첫날 같은 날 저녁에 그이가 뭐라고 얘기를 하는고 하면은 오늘 이 자리에는 누가 와 있는고 하면은 여러분들의 심령을 도적하기 위해서 심령 도적놈들이 여기에 찾아왔습니다. 이러더라고요.
So Mr. Na, this man who was having this revival, was actually spiritually open. And the first night, the first evening that we were there, he got up and said, there are some spiritual thieves here who are here to rob you of your spirit.
그래서 그가 얘기하기를 뭐라고 얘기했는가 하면은 정말로 말세는 적그리스도가 많이 있는데 여기 있다 저기 있다 해도 가지도 말고 오지도 말라고 했는데 오늘 이 자리에는 여러분들의 심령을 정말로 훔치기 위해서 도적하기 위해서 찾아갔으니까 조심해서 오늘 여러분들이 여기에서 예배를 드려야 되겠습니다. 그랬어요.
He said, the Bible says in the last days there will be Antichrist, and people may say he is there or he is here, but don't go those places. But he says, but here today, one of those people has come here to rob you of your spirit, so we need to be very careful as we worship here today.
우리 7사람은 그 부흥회 하는 그 자리에 가고 아버님은 집에서 그때 방을 2개 얻었는데 지키고 계셨어요.
Actually, 7 of us went directly to the revival, and Father was in his room, and he was maintaining his position in his room.
그래 예배가 끝난 다음에 거기 무슨 집을 짓기 위해서 긴 석가래를 이렇게 세워놨는데 그 석가래를 청년들이 가지고 이렇게 휘휘 돌렸어요. 돌리니까 우리가 거기에 걸려서 다 넘어지게 생겼습니다. 그래 어떻게 해서 거기를 잘 빠져나오게 됐어요.
And the young people, the staff of that revival, put up a kind of a barrier, and it almost knocked us over. But we were able to get out of that.
그래 아버님께서는 거기서 부흥회 하는데 무슨 일이 있었나 하고 궁금하게 생각하시면서 혼자 계셨는데 와서 말씀을 드렸어요. 심령도적님이 여기 지금 와 있다고 얘기하더라고 했더니 아버님이 웃으시면서 통하기는 통했구만. 아버님이 그런 말씀을 하셨어요. 그래서 그날 저녁에 아버님하고 7사람 모여 앉아서 기도를 드렸습니다. 아버님이 기도를 하시더라고요. 하나님 아버지, 내가 가는 곳마다 왜 이렇게도 분란이 일어나고 싸움이 일어나고 참 고통이 여기에 따르고 있습니까? 그러시면서 아버님이 기도를 하시고 찬송가를 부르면서 우리는 기도하시면서 아버님이 그래요. 하나님 아버지, 어려운 고통이 내게 아무리 다가온다 손치더라도 나는 하나님과 약속하였던 그 말씀을 지키고 기어코 오늘 한국 땅을 중심 삼고 시작한 이 역사가 여기서 끝나지 말고 영원히 이것이 승리할 수 있게 해달라는 간절한 눈물 어린 기도를 우리가 거기서 같이 드렸던 역사가 있었던 것입니다.
So father was in a kind of a lodging place nearby. He did not. So he was waiting for us there, and the 7 of us went there to the actual revival. And when we got back, father asked, "Well, did anything happen?" And we said to him, "Well, he said that there were some spiritual thieves, and that we had to be careful." And father smiled and said, "Well, I guess he heard me." Father prayed, and we sang a song, and we prayed, that father prayed saying, why is it, God, that every place I go, there is this confusion and strife, but I have made you a promise, and so I pledge to keep that promise, and I pray that that the victory that has begun here in this land can be extended throughout the world and throughout eternity.
그래 그때 용문산에서 내려오면서 아버님께서 말씀하셨어요. 오늘 우리는 하늘 군대로 임명을 받은 사람들이야. 그렇기 때문에 옛날에 독립군들이 나라를 찾기 위해서도 목숨을 내놓고 싸웠는데 오늘 우리도 목숨을 각오하고 정말로 이 땅 위에 하나님의 나라와 하나님의 세계, 하나님의 뜻을 이루어놓기 위해서 우리는 전력 투구해서 승리하지 않으면 안 된다는 말씀을 하셨어요.
Father, as we were leaving that place, Father said that told us we had been anointed as the army of heaven, and he said that just like the independence army that fought against the Japanese colonialists risked their lives for the sake of the country, we also needed to be prepared to risk our lives for the sake of the country, for the sake of the world, and for the sake of God's will.
그때의 기억이 납니다마는 아버님이 말씀하시면서 아주 주먹을 꼭 쥐시고는 우리는 하늘 군대이기 때문에 목숨 내놓고 우리도 정말로 나라를 위해서 싸웠던 용사들 같이 우리도 싸워 나가자 그러면서 아버님이 우리들에게 힘을 실어 주었던 때가 있었던 것입니다.
I remember that day, Father clenched his fist as he spoke to us and said that we are the army of God. We need to be prepared to put our lives on the line, just as the independence fighters for fighting for Korea's independence from Japan put their lives on the line. And he encouraged us and gave us strength in that way.
아버님은 정말로 전도에 미치신 생활을 했어요. 하나에서부터 10까지가 다 정말로 사람의 영을 구하는 일은 내가 하지 않으면 안 되겠다는 그런 간절한 심정을 가지시고 아버님이 말씀하실 때 그랬어요. 뭐라고 하셨는가 하면은 정말로 저 영을 내가 구원하지 않으면 안 되겠다는 간절한 심정이 앞서서 하게 되면은 그 사람의 영이 두 손 들고 굴복해 들어오게 되는 거라고 말씀해 주셨어요.
Father was crazy for witnessing, and I remember for everything, from the beginning to the end, everything in his life was about the witnessing and about saving people's souls, saving their spirits, and he. Every person that he came into contact with, he felt it was his responsibility to save that person's soul.
한 사람 두 사람이 찾아오게 되면 아버님은 밤을 지새우시면서 말씀하시는데 취해서 말씀하셨어요. 그냥 말씀하신 게 아니라 정말로 그 말씀을 취해서 저 영을 내가 구원하지 않으면 안 되겠다는 간절한 심정이 앞서서 말씀하시는 거 보고 저는 아버님은 정말로 전도에 미치신 분이로구나 하는 것을 많이 느꼈던 것입니다.
When one or two persons would come to visit him, Father would speak to them through the night, and not just normal speaking, but he would be intoxicated in the Word of God as he spoke to them. And I could see how he was so desperate to save those people that came to him, and I could see that I could tell from that he was completely focused and completely crazy about witnessing.
그래서 사실 용문산 근하장로가 많이 욕을 했습니다. 지금 지상에는 이단들이 들끓고 있는데 자기가 주님이라고 하고 자기가 예수라고 하는 사람도 있는데 오늘 이 자리에 와 있는지 누가 알겠느냐고 그러면서 그이가 아버님에 대해서도 욕을 많이 해서 아버님께서 그런 말씀하셨어요. 용문산 그 나장로는 누구냐? 그도 하나님의 아들이라면 정말로 올바른 길을 가지 않는다면 암만 교회를 세우고 여기에서 수천 명이 모여서 말씀을 듣는다 손치더라도 아무 소용이 없는 거라고 이런 말씀도 했었습니다.
And actually, that time in Yongmunsan, at that revival meeting, the Reverend Na, who was speaking there, spoke against Father, criticized Father a lot in front of all those people. He said that there are people who call themselves the Lord. There are all kinds of heretics around here, and who knows, they may be here tonight. And he actually spoke about Father and criticized him a great deal. Later, Father said, well, who is he? He is also a child of God, and he needs to return to God. It doesn't matter if he has thousands of people gathering to hear his speeches. He's a child of God and needs to receive salvation too.
저는 그때 느꼈습니다. 아버님이 저렇게 희생을 다해서 하고 있기 때문에 반드시 이 뜻은 이루어질 수 있을 것이다. 아버님이 정말로 독립군들이 저렇게 나라 하나 찾는데도 저렇게 열심히 하고 있는데 우리가 이렇게 해서는 되겠느냐 하면서 아주 얼마나 호통을 치시고 야단을 하시면서 우리들에게 용기를 불어넣어 주셨던 것입니다.
Father would often encourage us. He would encourage us by scolding us that we needed to be more serious about saving people and giving them eternal lives.
그래서 그때 우리들이 나가서 말씀을 전하게 되면은 정말로 영적인 역사가 많이 일어나서 자신들도 모르게 기성교회 자기네 교회 간다고 했던 사람들이 한 번은 무리떼가 수십 명이 왔어요. 어떻게 됐느냐 물으니까 아니 우리 교회 가려고 다 떠났는데 오고 보니까 여기가 딴 교회구만요. 이런 역사도 있어요. 신령 역사가 굉장히 많았던 것입니다.
Many spiritual phenomena occurred in those days. One time, a few dozen people came to our church, and we asked them, "What's happening? Why did you come here?" And they said, "Well, we started out intending to go to our church, but somehow we wound up here. We don't even know how that happened. We don't know how we came here." That kind of a spiritual phenomenon would occur.
그래서 영계를 동원을 시켜서 역사했던 한때도 있었던 것입니다.
And so there was a time when we were able to mobilize spirit world in order to witness.
그래서 정말로 점심을 해놓고 그네들이 말씀을 듣겠다고 기다리는 일도 있었어요. 그래서 유효원 협회장이 뭐라고 얘기했는가 하면은, 야, 정말로 영계가 가만 안 둔다고. 아버님이 저렇게 일선에 서서 싸우고 계시기 때문에 영계가 가만 안 있고 지금 역사를 정말로 하고 있다는 것을 그가 아주 말씀하시면서 좋아했던 일도 있었던 것입니다.
And people were desperate to hear God's word, and Mr. Yu Hyo-won, the president of the church at that time, was amazed that people were so desperate. And he could say that he would say that because Father is standing on the front line, and because Father is fighting, spirit world is also fighting. Spirit world cannot stay still in this circumstance.
아버님이 전도에 미치셨던 그것을 생각하면서 오늘 우리들의 가슴 속에도 그 심정을 우리들이 상속받아서 우리도 미쳐서 정말로 뜻을 땅 위에 세우기 위해서 싸워야 되겠고 우리도 전도해야 된다는 걸 이 아침 모두가 다 느끼시면서 해주기를 바랍니다. 고맙습니다.
I think we need to, today need to inherit this spirit in this heart, that we also need to be crazy for witnessing, that we also need to take responsibility for the souls of the people that we meet, so that we can bring them all to God and build His kingdom on earth. Thank you very much.
And we'll be right back after
네.
a short break.
Let love explode and bring the dead to life. A love so bold to see a revolution somehow. Let love explode and bring the dead to life. A love so bold to bring a revolution somehow. Now I'm lost in your freedom, and this world I'll overcome. My God's not dead, He's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, He's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. Let hope arise and make the darkness hide. My faith is dead, I need a resurrection somehow. Now I'm lost in your freedom, and this world I'll overcome. My God's not dead, He's shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Our God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. He's roaring, he's roaring, he's roaring like a lion. God's not dead. Let love explode and bring the dead to life. A love so bold to see a revolution somehow. Let love explode and bring the dead to life. A love so bold to bring a revolution somehow. Now I'm lost in your freedom, and this world I'll overcome. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. Let hope arise and make the darkness hide. My faith is dead, I need a resurrection somehow. Now I'm lost in your freedom, and this world I'll overcome. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. He's roaring. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar.
At break of
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report this Friday, August 4th, 2017. I'm your host, Hong Sean Moon, the second king of Chunnigo. Now let's go to our top news today. Paul Joseph Watson, we'll start with a different video today. Paul Joseph Watson has a new video out on 20 questions for burqa wearers. Let's see his new produced video.
The BBC says we shouldn't say certain things to burqa-wearing Muslims. They got some veiled women to read out hypothetical questions and then lecture the viewer about how ignorant and bigoted they are. I've got a few questions.
You can't be a feminist and be wearing a burqa.
If anybody was to say that to me, they would be like, oh, she's the biggest feminist you can find.
Okay, so why did one of the first ever Arab Muslim feminist groups, the Egyptian Feminist Union, encourage women to discard their burqas? The very act of Arab feminist leaders like Huda Sharawi discarding the burqa was one of the symbolic acts that led to Muslim women in Egypt winning the right to an education. Rejecting the burqa has been an integral part of actual feminism in the Middle East for nearly 100 years.
If feminism is about a woman's right to make her own choices, then this is one of it.
Really? Did the 16-year-old girl in Canada who was strangled to death by her own brother for not wearing the veil get to make her own choice? Did the 4-year-old girl in India whose father smashed her brains out on the floor after her head covering slipped get to make her own choice? Why are children as young as 3 and 4 made to wear the burqa and the hijab at all? Did they get a choice? Do these women in Saudi Arabia look like they had a choice as they're literally herded around like farmyard animals? Did the woman in Saudi Arabia who wore a skirt get a choice? Oh no, that's right, she was hunted down by the police and arrested.
The niqab is so practical.
Practical? Really?
Very practical. Look at them eating. Oh my goodness.
So practical.
Practical. It's very practical.
The niqab is so practical.
Islam is so oppressive.
Practical.
Oh, but you're oppressed and we want to help you.
Okay, so if Muslim women who wear the burqa aren't oppressed, why do Muslim women in Iran literally call on Westerners to help them fight oppression by violating the law on head coverings? If it's not a form of oppression, why does Azra Namani, head of the Muslim Reform Movement, assert that hijab purity culture covers, segregates, subordinates, silences, jails and kills women and girls around the world? If it's not a form of oppression, why do gangs of men roam the streets in Iran throwing acid in the faces of women whose veils are deemed to be too loose? If it's not a form of oppression, why are Muslim gangs in London threatening to kill women who don't cover their heads?
I think some women are actually having to fight to be able to wear it.
Really? Is that why the first thing that women in Syria did after they were liberated from ISIS was to discard it? Who's fighting to wear it? Last time I checked, ISIS was stoning women to death for not wearing it. Sharia police patrol Muslim countries, forcing women to wear it.
Women exposing their hair is only one of the controversial crimes considered to be against local Sharia law.
And by the way, we don't undermine a woman who does not wear the face veil or the hijab at all.
Really? So are women in Europe who are being beaten by Sharia patrol gangs for not wearing it being undermined? What about women in Sweden who are being refused service in shops if they don't wear it? Are they being undermined?
Go back to your own country. When it's a problem, something happens. But when you want your curry, when you want your samosas, when you want the glitter, when you want to put bindis on your forehead to go to Wireless Festival, it's all good.
No one who puts bindis on their heads, which by the way is a Hindu thing, so why are we even talking about it? No one who does that and then goes to music festivals is walking up to Muslims on the street and asking them, why don't you go back to your own country? Where did the BBC get these dumb questions from?
It's cultural. It's never been Islamic.
So it's cultural and not Islamic. Okay, so why do you wear it?
I am wearing it for God. It's an act of worship.
Right, so it's cultural, not Islamic, but you wear it for Allah, so it's Islamic.
What are you hiding there?
Yeah, why are you laughing about suicide bombings less than 3 months after a suicide bomber in the UK blew up a bunch of kids at a pop concert. I've also got a few questions for the BBC. Why are you using taxpayer money to normalise the oppression of women? Why are you trying to popularise something that's clearly abnormal for an open liberal society? Why are you also trying to normalise other backward Islamic practices like people marrying their cousins? Something that's caused a huge spike in childhood deaths in the UK of Muslim children. Why are you continually shoving regressive belief systems down our throats in the name of progressivism and diversity? Women being smothered in black cloths to obey the whims of a brutal, archaic 7th century patriarchy isn't progressive.
There you go. Another powerful piece by the young man, Paul Joseph Watson. The guy's actually 6'4". Can you believe it? He's taller than me.
He doesn't look that.
He looks so tiny. I thought he was like 5'10" or something. I don't know, like 5'5" or something like that. The guy is quite massive. He's quite huge. In other top news, Rand Paul says Trump may take executive action to repeal Obamacare. The senator is meeting with POTUS this week. He's probably the only one that's honest up on the stupid Capitol Hill. Along with Trump, Senator Rand Paul is advising President Trump on a potential executive order to repeal and replace Obamacare. That wouldn't make sense because Obamacare was put in by executive order. So repeal it by executive order. A move that he says could help millions of Americans who cannot afford skyrocketing premiums. In interviews with earlier this week, Paul noted that Trump is considering penning an executive order to get the job done, following the failure of Republicans and Senator John Traitor McCain. Senator John Traitorous McCain. Republicans to pass legislation in Congress. I just got off the phone with the president. I think he and I both want to get something done, Paul said. Fantastic. See, this is great. President Trump is starting to lean towards Rand Paul because he realized this guy's not trying to get him. He's not trying to sabotage everything he's doing. He is literally trying to help him and trying to get things done for the American people who voted for Trump and got him in. So it's great that he's leaning on Rand Paul. Fantastic. He should bring Rand Paul in, or Ron Paul as the Attorney General, who's going to replace Sessions. He should bring these guys in. These are the true patriots that have been fighting for sovereignty the last 20 plus years, especially his dad, Ron Paul, who my kids, by the way, are on his Ron Paul curriculum. Fantastic. Fantastic. Fantastic.
The homeschool curriculum.
Homeschool curriculum, yeah. Now, there is anxiety built into it, especially when the moms get freaked out because you have the teachers always making them take standardized tests, and moms just like they just start freaking out. There's the Korean moms, there's the Asian moms. They just can't understand going to school without taking standardized tests every freaking 2 weeks because they're just in a brainwashed, socially engineered, indoctrinated system. But once they get used to it and see the value of it. Number one, they can spend more time with the kids at home, siblings at home. They can spend more time with their parents. There's a lot more bonding time, etc. All those kind of things. And the kids have to be self-motivated to do the studying. And as long as they do their, notes taking and things like that, they can pass school easily. And now the moms are getting much more, the queen and also the Emos, they're getting much more confident seeing that their kids are passing every year. And all these standardized tests, what is it? Look at the long run. What do they do for them? When you're 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, does it really matter about your stupid little standardized tests in middle school and high school? It has absolutely zero meaning. Zero. The point is through education, you're supposed to learn about society, world, real history, like the contribution of Christian history, to Western civilization, etc. This is stuff they learn that they take out in the propaganda media, indoctrination camp, which we call public school. Okay? They're not bombarded. They're not social slaves to the homosexual political agenda, the transgender sexual political agenda, the pedophile sexual political agenda, the hypersexualization of kids, the UN agenda, the 5 years old, train kids how to masturbate. I mean, these people are fucking crazy, you understand? They're mother fussers. You understand? They're crazy.
I think I'm understanding.
We don't want our children in the hands of these mother fussers.
I believe I understand.
You see that? That's the closest we can get to releasing that into the atmosphere. Okay. While I'm talking, okay, hold on. What I'm talking to him about is that I think through executive action, I think he can legalize the health associations that I've been talking about. Paul says he's planning to have further talks with Trump this week, noting that there is a precedent for the president to take action, given that under the Employee Retirement Income Security Act, the executive can decide how private companies can provide benefits. And there is that insano McCain. I mean, this idiot comes back from, you know, the grave to stop Obamacare from being repealed, which he for years has been promising. And he's been saying, oh, I care for my Arizona constituents who only have one health care provider from which they have to force to buy, and their premiums are going up, and I really care for them. So I'm going to come back from the grave to get this banned. And then he blocks it. This guy is a total globalist agent. He's a total sellout. He's a shame to the military, the shame to veterans. Paul is pushing, and guess who's affected so powerfully by Obamacare being their premiums are skyrocketing? Veterans. This guy doesn't give a crap, a rat's ashtray about these veterans. He is a motherfusher. You like that? That's my new one. He's a motherfussing motherfusher. You see that? Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a new one we made up. Paul is pushing for so-called association health plans, which will provide an avenue for Americans to get health more affordable insurance in large groups across state lines. It's the same principle as Walmart, Paul said. Walmart can buy in such large bulk that you can get milk for a very reasonable price, often just barely above their cost. And they do it because they have such a large buying power. I'm calling publicly for what I've been working on privately for months. The Department of Labor should revise its rules to allow virtually any group to become a group for insurance purposes. From the Chamber of Commerce to the credit unions, from the NRA to the ACLU, from the realtors to the Restaurant Association, there are many groups who could almost immediately begin to offer insurance to their members, Paul noted in their
church congregations.
That would be fantastic. Can you imagine if hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Americans would leave the group or small business market and join together in large, powerful organization? The senator urged. The problems of the individual market would be over. Job-killing mandates and burdensome regulations on insurance would be unnecessary because the consumer would have the power over the big insurance companies. The senator has repeatedly stressed that Obamacare has created a monopoly on health care insurance and that the only viable solution is to open it up to the free market.
Whoa!
I know for a fact President Trump agrees with this. He has told me so often and has directed the Department of Labor to work with me to get this done. But the time is now to act, Paul declared.
Finally, we're getting those two words.
Fantastic. Trump is leaning on the real patriots of the Patriot movement who are actually in Washington. That is awesome, awesome and hopeful news that he is now starting to lean heavily on Rand Paul, literally one of the only honest men on Capitol Hill. Also, another article by Paul Joseph Watson, Cultural Enrichment. Grenade attacks in Sweden increase 7-fold.
Grenade attacks?
Grenade attacks. Police stations, social offices are targeted. 7-fold increase in Sweden because they love cultural enrichment. Grenade attacks in the progressive paradise of Sweden have increased 7-fold as a result of the country's proud embrace of cultural enrichment. Police figures show that there were 8 reported cases pertaining to hand grenade attacks in 2014. Last year, the figure was 52. 52 hand grenade attacks in the white Scandinavian country of Sweden. Oh. Wow, this is what they want to bring to the rest of Europe and to America. cultural enrichment getting blown up in grenade attacks. 52 grenade attacks last year. Can you imagine that? That's unfathomable, isn't it? That's what's
52
happening.
grenade attacks?
52 grenade attacks. Isn't that incredible?
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Well, they want to make it like Somalia, don't they? We love our Somalis. We love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good. Oh, they're so sweet. You hear that Intimate Forest song? Oh, my Lord, have mercy. That is the actual police figures. From 8 to last year, 52 grenade attacks in the whitest Scandinavian brainwashed liberal lunatic paradise of Sweden that props themselves around as the feminist, liberal, progressive nation paradise capital of the world. And great job in the white country of Scandinavian Sweden, which is so sad. They are now having to deal with 52 terrorist grenade attacks on their soil. On a nation with less than 10 million inhabitants, what is it, like 6 million? Less than 10 million inhabitants. They have to deal with freaking 52 hand grenade attacks by terrorist jihadis for their cultural enrichment so they can prove to their cultist fellow cultists around the world as they try to moral posture and virtue signal about how faithful they are to their cult and how liberal and progressive they are to their cult. How they have to just prove to their Harvard professors how great they are in following the doctrine of progressivism inculcated into them from 5 years old from the public school and the indoctrination camps, why they're so wonderful slaves, why they're such wonderful progressive cultists with their blonde hair, blue-eyed idiot dummies saying, please come in and rape us, bring your cultural enrichment, and grenade us to oblivion. We love death. We love suicide. We want to be eradicated because we're evil for having blonde hair and blue eyes. Oh, Lord. My blood pressure is up again.
Just under 10 million.
You cannot not get riled up about this. It's ridiculous. It's nuts to see this crap every day. It drives me nuts. That's why I gotta wear pink neckties and pink roses sometimes. That freaking drives me nuts. I gotta wear a camouflage suit with a freaking pink silk rose pocket square and a freaking pink silk necktie. Oh my Lord, this is insane. It's so sad because like one of my favorite outdoor companies, Fjällräven, who organized a fantastic, epic trek journey through the Rocky Mountains. I mean, they're so sweet. The Swede people are so nice. It's like, it's so sad to see how brainwashed they're so nice. They're just the sweetest little white people you've ever seen. They're like the little cutie white people. They're just so sweet. They're just so not racist. They're just so tolerant. They're just like the sweetest little things. And they're just brainwashed cultists. It's so sad. It's so sad to see. Oh, it's so sad. So sad to see. Last year, the figure of terrorist grenade attacks was 52 attacks in the small country smaller than Manhattan. Small, population-wise, smaller than Manhattan. Can you imagine 52 grenade attacks in Manhattan? Can you imagine if that happened in Manhattan?
Well, they're bigger than Manhattan.
No, I know the population.
Population is larger than Manhattan.
What do they have in Manhattan? 8 million?
Well, 8 million for the whole, all 5 boroughs, I think, is 8 million.
No. In Manhattan, go ahead, check that stat.
Okay. But
It's 8 million in
Sweden
Manhattan.
is just under 10 million.
With the 5 boroughs, it's way more than 8 million. Okay, prove me wrong on that, Tim.
Okay.
The point is,
Who lives in Manhattan?
less than can you imagine? Oh, let's just say
What Manhattan is only just above 1.5 million, 1.6 million in Manhattan.
is 1.1 million.
Yeah,
Okay,
2015.
Korea is a massive city, then, isn't it? And
Seoul is a massive city. Yes.
It's a massive city.
Yes, yes.
So it's the 5 boroughs. Okay. Thank you for that correction. But can you imagine just in the 5 boroughs alone if we had 52 grenade bomb attacks? Can you imagine that in New York City? That would be insane. Insane.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, what a sad reality. I mean, can you imagine in the city of Seoul, which is over 10 million?
Yes.
Can you imagine the city of Seoul having 52 grenade attacks, jihadi grenade attacks, in 1 year? That's unthinkable. I don't think Seoul has 1 grenade attack a year, does it?
That would be a pretty big news if Seoul had a grenade attack.
52? That's like 1 a week.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's
big
a-
news when someone shoots a gun.
That's like 1 per week to have a grenade attack.
Yes.
I mean, that's so sad. I mean, the Swedish people are like the, in the, what is it, the Disney's movie, The Ant Life? And you know that little fat caterpillar? That's like the German, Swedish thing. And he's like, and it's so good, and it's so wonderful, okay. That little fat caterpillar is the cute little Swede. You know, that little fat caterpillar. Okay, yes, okay, I want to sing the thing. That's like Swedish people. It's like ridiculous, and they're just being overrun, raped, and blown up to bits because they've adopted the cult of liberal, lunatic progressivism, which is really suicide. It's a suicide cult. It's a death cult. It's a skull and bones suicide maniac cult. Get out, you poor little caterpillar Swedes. Get out of this cult. Get out, get out, get out. With your little fat caterpillar, get out. Get out, you poor people. Oh, Lord, we pray for you. Oh, we weep for you. Oh, my gosh. Kick your stupid politicians out, you poor Swedish people. Oh, you poor Laplanders, you're so poor. Kick these idiots out. We'll take a break right now while I see you after this break. Oh.
Jesus, forever, you've forgiven my failures. You are my
$6.58. $6.14. $6.46. Time 471.
Hello folks, I'm Justin Moon, the president of Car Firearms Group, and today I've got the PM40 with True Glow night sights, and look at that, Magna porting. Look at that porting on that. This is our standard PM40 with the day sights, but now this model with the Magna porting and the True Glow night sights. What a difference. The .40 caliber PM have a reputation for being quite a bit of a kicker. They do kick a lot. And so we put the Magneporting on these PM40s, and boy, what a difference does that make. It really makes this PM40 shoot a lot softer, reduces the muzzle flip, the recoil comes straight back into you, and becomes a very manageable pistol.
And we are back. Welcome back to King's Report. It's Friday, August 4th, 2017. I'm your host, Hyungjin Sean Moon, the second king of Cheongguk. Let's cue that clip of Bug's Life and Heimlich, our cute little Swedish caterpillar friend. Heimlich. Do we have that queued up? As our tech team works on that, we're talking about the shocking statistics of 52 grenade attacks in Sweden by these jihadis because of cultural enrichment, and how the Swedes are ruled over by this satanic cult of politicians who guilt shame them into being guilty of having white skin and blue eyes, blonde hair and blue eyes, and for being Scandinavian and being tolerant and having Christian roots. The Swedish flag itself is a cross, you idiots. Okay, that's why I say it's Swedish, even though it's become taken over by the cult of socialism and cult of multiculturalism, which means no culture at all, and the culture of suicide and death. 52 bombs per year now. All of the hand grenades seized by police were obtained from the former Yugoslavia. Sweden has accepted hundreds of thousands of migrants from the Middle East and North Africa over the last few years. An expert at the National Police Department who wanted to remain anonymous, speaking on record negatively about anything connected to migrants in Sweden, now requires anonymity, said the use of hand grenades was particular to Sweden and not mirrored in other European countries. No, that's because you've let so many in proportion to your nation. If you allow more in equal proportion to Sweden, you'll get more grenades, because they will bring them from Somalia and North Africa, etc. The report notes that the grenades were initially being used as a part of gang violence, but that over the last 2 years, social officers, police stations, and police officers have also become targets. Grenades are routinely discovered in Muslim migrant areas of Sweden, including one found in a park at Malmö back in February. Another found in the Malmö suburb of Lingdangen, which was used in an attempted murder. And a grenade that was used in an attack in Tapgaten, Södertälje, where half of the residents are migrants and refugees from Syria and Iraq. As reported back in May, an investigation by Swedish newspaper Dagens Nyheter found that of 100 people involved in assassination and murder attempts where firearms were used, 90 people had at least one foreign-born parent, meaning migrants are responsible for 90% of shootings in Sweden. The figures back up veteran Swedish police officer Peter Springer's assertion that crimes he processed, which include rape, assault, violence against police, drug trafficking, and murder, almost all were exclusively committed by someone named Mohammed or a variation of that name, and the culprits were invariably from Iraq, Turkey, Afghanistan, Somalia, or Syria. Sexual assaults on women at music festivals in Sweden have risen by 1,000%, with feminists and organizers responding by proposing that all men be banned from such events, because all white men who don't sexually assault women have to be punished for the Muslim migrants who are sexually assaulting women. People who committed no crimes and are patient and gentlemanlike to women get punished for crap bags like that who screw it up for everybody. That's how liberal, trendy, and fair the cult of progressivism and collectivism is, which is Satanism and Archangelism. Sexual assaults on women at music festivals in Sweden have risen 1,000%, with feminists and organizers responding by proposing that all men be banned from such events. Oh my gosh, you know, they can't address the real problem, okay? So they're gonna ban all men. What you gonna do, ban all men from Sweden now? Well, then you're gonna be racist because you're not letting those migrants in. How about ban all blonde-haired, blue-eyed women, men, and bring in only Muslim migrants just to show that you're not racist against Muslim migrants? Huh? Which is what they're doing, by the way. Sweden's response to skyrocketing rates of violent crime and rapes as a result of mass immigration has been to keep the borders open and punish those who complain about it. Earlier this year, a Swedish government body put thousands of people on a hate list by blocking Twitter accounts that so much as questioned whether accepting migrants was a good idea. The list also ensnared completely non-political individuals such as Swedish YouTuber PewDiePie. As reported yesterday, Arab Christian pastor Merzak Botros says that he has seen multiple ISIS flags in numerous different Swedish refugee centers, and that staff at these centers are trying to radicalize newly arrived migrants. Here is the video by Paul Just Watson on I Was Right About Sweden.
Media and all those lefty-lovey celebrities laughed at me for warning about mass immigration and Sweden. Yeah, well, it's not so funny now, is it? 4 people were killed and 15 injured when a rejected asylum seeker drove a truck into a crowd of people in Stockholm. The culprit, a 39-year-old ISIS supporter, was ordered to be deported 4 months ago, yet remained in the country. If not for this hero who forced the terrorist to crash by driving into his path, hundreds more could have been killed. Acknowledging the total disaster that allowing in hundreds of thousands of refugees has been, Sweden's Prime Minister said, Sweden will never go back to the mass migration we had in autumn 2015. Never. Well, it's too friggin' late now, isn't it? Everyone's virtually forgotten about this already, because terrorism is the new normal in Europe. The terrorists have won. Leftists think that going on with business as usual and allowing in untold millions more migrants is courageous. It's not courageous, it's cowardice. It's normalising terrorism. Because they'd rather be dead than, God forbid, be called a racist. Strange, isn't it, how people aren't being mowed down by lorries in Japan, in Hungary, in the Czech Republic. Only in countries that have imported huge numbers of migrants that share certain beliefs. Some kind of connection there. Can't quite put my finger on. Sweden, the most progressive, pro-refugee, pro-Islam country in the entire West. A country that isn't involved in any Middle Eastern wars. And it still got attacked by an Islamic terrorist. Progressives, your submission will not protect you. I was right about Sweden. Trump was right.
Sweden! See, this is the reality of weak-minded progressive leftist lunatics. They think by submitting to an evil, archaic, draconian, medieval torture system that you won't be tortured and they'll treat you nice. No, you idiots, they'll laugh at you as they torture you. They'll laugh at you as they bomb and rape you. You don't get rid of evil by surrendering to it. You get rid of evil by standing up to it. This is ridiculous. It is learn passivism, which leads to you getting run over by predators.
They took in large numbers. They're having problems like they never thought possible.
The migrant residents of Rinkeby pelted police officers with stones while they were trying to arrest one of the terror suspects. Oh, but no-go zones don't exist. They're a conspiracy theory. Really? Is that why Post Nord just announced that they were going to stop delivering mail in Hulster, just down the road from Rinkeby, because it's, quote, not safe? Rinkeby, the same suburb journalist Tim Pool was told by police to leave or he'd be attacked. The same suburb where an Australian film crew was attacked. And notice how the media treats victims of Islamic terrorism compared to how they treat victims in other situations. How many times did they show you the picture of the dead boy on the Turkish beach? How about the child victims of the chemical weapons attack in Syria? Lots of times, right? Okay, how about the dismembered child victim of the Stockholm attack? No, they didn't show you that, did they? Did they show you the bodies of the 10 dead children after the Nice attack? No. Did they show you the dead children after the attack on Christians in Egypt? No. Isn't it an amazing coincidence how we only see the bodies of dead kids when there's an agenda to be sold? CNN's really keen on giving a platform to a 7-year-old girl who's being used as a mouthpiece to sell the invasion of Syria.
Bana, do you blame President Assad for this?
Yes.
What is your message to President Assad?
I am very sad.
Jake Tapper wants you to follow her on Twitter. Are they going to give a voice to the children of parents massacred by Islamic terrorists on the streets of Europe? Yeah, don't hold your breath. Sweden's new feminist leader wants to ban deportations altogether, even of rapists, because Sweden is a racist society. Yeah, so racist that she, a black woman from Uganda, was just elected to lead a major political party. But don't worry, because left-wing newspaper Aftonbladet has a solution. Stop importing hundreds of thousands of Muslim migrants? No. Ban cars from big cities. And the mayor of Stockholm says Sweden will defeat terrorists by thinking of kindness and openness. Oh, you mean like the openness that allowed 150 ISIS terrorists to cross back into Sweden? Yeah. Good luck with that.
Oh, you mean the openness which had you attacked by grenade explosion 54 fucking times, you idiots. This is insane! Total insanity. Cue that picture, cue that video of Heimlich. Heimlich! Heimlich! You poor buggy, oh poor caterpillar.
Candy corn! Here, let me help you to finish it! That says leave them alone, they have poo-poo hands!
Heimlich is being blown up and raped! Heimlich is being blown up and raped by jihadi, radical, Wahhabist, Islamicists. They're blowing up Heimlich and beheading him and blowing him up with grenades, 54 grenade attacks in 1 year. And they're raping Heimlich because he's a nice, non-racist Swede with blonde hair and blue eyes and speaks with a Swedish accent, and because he's a nice fat caterpillar. Oh my gosh. Okay, enough of that, enough of that, enough of that. Our broadcast is probably going to be banned today because I showed Bugs Life and Disney bans my broadcast. I showed Bugs Life. We may have to remove that, okay, guys? But if you don't know Heimlich, that it is from A Bug's Life. Okay, and he's a Swedish fat caterpillar. Oh, it's so sad. They'll probably block the broadcast today because we showed a clip from Heimlich, of Heimlich.
Well, in Sweden, for certain.
This is ridiculous. Yes, in Sweden, we're going to be called racist white supremacists, even though I'm not white and even though I'm not racist. Oh, Lord. Oh, these people are so poor. They're so poor. I mean, I literally grieve for these blonde hair, blue-eyed, nice people. I mean, it's like we went on a Fjällräven trek with them, and there's all these like super nice Swedish people. They're like the nicest people you'll ever meet. They're all like 6'5". they're all really, really sweet and nice. And I'm looking up the you poor things. You poor things. I mean, what the hellhole? What of a hellhole do you live in? You people are so poor. It's like they're just the cutest, nicest people. I mean, it's so sad. It's so sad to see these nice people being just bullied into accepting this death cult, this suicide bomber cult, this I'm grateful for being grenaded cult. I mean, it's just I'm grateful for being raped cult. I at least helped emotionally relieve some of the sexual tension of a Muslim jihadi migrant who really wanted to ejaculate in my vagina. I was so good because I let him just rape me and penetrate me till I was just brutalized, and I'm just so good. And everybody else around me is clapping. Oh, blonde hair, blue eyes, Swedish girl, you're so wonderful. You're a hero. You're so courageous. You're so courageous. We applaud you. Thank you for being raped. You're so courageous. Oh, you're so wonderful. You get all the awards for our liberal lunatic cult. Great job. Oh, you're so brave. I'm tearing. Hollywood is just applauding. Meryl Streep and Angelina Jolie is applauding for you. Oh, you're so brave. Oh, so inspirational. What an inspiration to us. We're so moved. This is sick. Be liberated from this pathological cult of death. These poor people. Cast these demons aside. Get back to your Swedish flag, which has a cross on it, you dumb idiots. Grow some freaking balls and kick these bastards out. Oh my God. Oh my Lord, my Lord. Oh, I can't deal with this every freaking day, seeing this crap. I mean, it's just the how just normal, honest, good, decent-minded, non-predator people just get bullied and just get abused by this ridiculous leftist cult of death. It's ridiculous. Oh, golly. It drives me nuts, Tim. You have a story you want to cover? Let's go to Tim. Let's go to Tim. Let's get our top story on drudgereport.com. Tim, can you report on that, please? While I take some sip of my water.
Can I report on one that I have open right now?
Go ahead, go ahead.
West Virginia governor jumping ship from the Democrats to the Republicans.
Nuts!
From the Democrats to the Republicans. During a speech at President Trump's rally in West Virginia on Thursday, the state's governor, Jim Justice, announced he is changing his party affiliation from Democrat to Republican. Justice says, I'm in the last session of the legislature, I would tell you that there was some greatness passed with our roads and so on, but there was way too much pain. Now listen to me and listen really good. We heard a lot of people. We heard our vets and our teachers and our disabled and our weak, and we walked away from the old. Now I can promise you just this. I came to only get something done. Let me just say this to you as bluntly as I can. Say it, West Virginia, at the altar, when we had it done, like it or not like it, but the Democrats walked away from me. Now today I would tell you with lots of prayers, lots of thinking, today I'll tell you as West Virginians, I can't help you anymore being a Democratic governor. So tomorrow I will change my registration to Republican. He added, now let me go one step further and say this. What in the world is wrong with us as people? Have we not heard enough about Russians? I mean, to our God in heaven, about think about it. The stock market is at 22,000, and this country has hope. and we're on our way. Justice also stated, Trump has made us, as common, everyday Americans, feel good and proud of who we are.
Well, that's an interesting statement. I'm not saying that this has been a Democratic operative program. Okay, this guy may be honest, but this has been a Democratic operative process to actually get liberal lunatics to sign on as Republicans and then run as Republicans. So whether or not you get a Democrat or Republican, you still got a leftist lunatic who's going to grow government. And this has been a public strategy of the Democratic Party for the last 10 plus years. That's why you got all these freaking rhinos that are running Republicans, but they're voting exactly the same as the leftist lunatics. It's a 1-2 party duopoly. Now, this guy seems to be more positive towards Trump and to the things that Trump is getting done, so maybe this guy is a real one. But you gotta really watch out for the wolves in sheep's clothing. The Democrats have been doing this as a strategy of securing the Congress and the House by subterfuge, pretending they're Republicans, pretending that they stand up conservative values, and then when they get in there, do everything to make us a communist hellhole and a socialist hellhole where George Soros and his crinkly old Emperor Palpatine face can prowl over us and haunt us in our nightmares and on our TV advertising billboards. So it is, you got to watch out for those wolves in sheep's clothing. Very, very lurid plans by the leftist lunatics. In other news, President Trump drops bombshell at West Virginia rally. As Tim referred just now, as Governor Jim Justice announced he switches. But one thing at least good about this guy, at least he's giving Trump some credit. And he's saying he's sick and tired of hearing about Russia. So those are some good signs. Groundbreaking Milo Yiannopoulos on banned book video. He had an interview with Alex Jones on Infowars.com. Oh boy, and you just see how radically attacked Infowars is being attacked every freaking day. They have now new sitcoms, and Jamie Oliver, was it Jamie Oliver? Some idiot sitcom fool that reads off a teleprompter with, overly paid, CIA writers. You have all these stupid, what's his name? Johnny Oliver or something like that, who's attacking Infowars all day long. And you have, who's that other guy? What's the Stephen Corbell, whatever his name is. That idiot is attacking Infowars all the time. They don't know what to do with, they don't know what to do with Infowars. Roger Stone is joining Infowars. Mike Cernovich is joining Infowars. Project Veritas is doing all sorts of pieces that Infowars promotes like crazy. I mean, the whole alternative news media is connecting with Infowars. This is what the Washington Times should have been doing. This is where we're moving Washington Times to bring Stossel, bring Alex Jones, bring Breitbart, and coalesce together with them. And to make the Washington Times the center of the Trump revolution, which it would have become. Not this marginalized, dead, useless paper now, which was not only so late in supporting Trump, but it's completely irrelevant now. Completely useless and irrelevant, of course, in tons of debt and losing money every freaking year. But let's go to the interview with Milo Yiannopoulos on his banned book, Dangerous, with Alex Jones on Infowars.com.
Have some personal qualities that mean that we'll take it, we'll get up the next day and we'll come back twice as hard. But not everybody is like that. And certainly most of the people on the left aren't like that. But to survive at all in conservative media in public, you have to be like that because of what they do to you.
We gotta make some cool intros like that. See how cool those are? They're so creative.
All right, folks.
Really cool.
Milo Yiannopoulos
intro, outros.
Is here in studio with us. Milo Yiannopoulos is in studio. He has the new book, Back Like the Phoenix from the Dead, months after. It was #1 on Amazon in the top 10 before it even came out on the New York Times best-selling list. And first they said, it's a hateful book, even though we haven't read it. We're not going to allow it to be on the New York Times bestseller list, which they've announced they do to conservative libertarian books. And then they pulled it and said, we're not going to issue the books we've printed now. Modern book burning, where the books are destroyed before they ever hit the bookstore shelves. His crime is not playing into their official narrative. He's with us here for the next 2 hours to cover the waterfront here in Austin. The book is now out. We sell it at InfoWarsStore.com. Dangerous with Milo. And it's got him there with his German Shepherd on the back. Milo, good to have you here.
Lovely to meet you. And lovely to see you again.
Yeah, a lot of folks are very excited you're here.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much for having me. It's a show that I like to watch even when I'm not on it, which is the highest compliment I can pay you.
Well, thanks for putting up
People
with
in
me.
our business, you know, that's about as high a compliment as you can pay.
It was good to meet you at the RNC, and, you know, Trump won. Their fake polls proved wrong. They've got new fake polls out saying Trump's super unpopular, but the bots and computer evidence we have shows he's more popular than ever.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't trust anything I read anymore. I just don't believe a bit of it, and it's the most extraordinary thing that's happened to the American media, which has always been the dumbest media. It's always been the stupidest media of anywhere in the world. I mean, you go to Britain, you know, you've got sharp, smart, brilliant, incredibly gifted, waspish gadflies, whether it's the tabloid media or whatever. You come to the American media, and they are, by some margin, the dumbest people, the dumbest press anywhere in the Western world. We've gone from sort of pitying them to being, I think, in open warfare with them. Anybody who actually believes in freedom, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, any of the things that make this wonderful country, you know, such a fantastic place to live. If you care about any of that stuff, I think you have no option but to be in open warfare against the establishment.
That's right, because they are in open war with us now. Saying,
well, they started it.
They're saying kill the president. Now they've got Al Gore. They've got Brennan on TV saying we're about to remove the president in a coup. I mean, this is like the Twilight Zone that they're openly doing this.
All right, so then they're talking about Milo's book being banned. Let's go cue that video from Australia and our wonderful sister Rachel and Laurent, the daughter of our continental director down there in Australia. And we mentioned them, and also how in the future we want to develop the King's News Network, so that we have different parts of wonderful Chinese culture and people in different shows and stuff like that. And they were just inspired. They took initiative. They're inspired. They took initiative. And she made a wonderful tutorial, because it should be all ranges of life: lifestyle, style, design, makeup, all aspects of Chinese culture, fighting, sports, everything. You know what I'm saying? Fishing, hunting, you name it, news. It can have all those elements. Okay, but of course, still, it has to be a news network centered around the news, with people who are intelligent, who understand how to dissect political Satanism, how to dissect collectivism, how to dissect multiculturalism, how to dissect liberal lunacy, and be able to then, of course, show the alternative to that, and see show how a God-centered person and a God-centered culture can create more beauty, more art, more civilization, more strength, more courage, more honorableness, more, is that a word, honorableness? More integrity, more character, more wonderment. Right there, when I said wonderment, they've got to have like fireworks on. We got to have a contest where the young people can make a meme about me. You know, doing all this crazy ranting, and then put little graphic bricks, pew, pew, pew. We got to do a $20,000 contest. That'll stimulate them. No, I'm just joking. Don't take a quote on that. I'm just playing around. No $20,000 contest. All right, folks, let's go to Rachel Newman, our wonderful sister down there, and she's actually a professional makeup artist and a Clinique, I guess, makeup professional. Let's go to Rachel. Go ahead.
Hello and welcome to this Chonoguk makeup look. This is something that I've created to inspire you to return beauty to your subject partner in your relationships, and also to honor the King Hyungjanim and also the Queen Yananim, and provide them entertainment and hopefully some fun. So let's go right ahead and create this.
All right, girl. You go, girl.
Okay, so what we're going to start
You go, girl. You go, girl. You go, girl. You go, girl. You go, girl.
So if you have any around
You go, girl.
any blemishes, that kind of thing, especially if you're kind of of a younger age group, This
If
one's
you're
really
of a
good
younger
to
age
prime
group.
the skin. So that's basically going to make a
You're
lot
gonna
of
love
the
your
foundation,
Aussie,
concealer, powders, anything that you put on
accent.
top, adhere to the skin a little bit
She's
better.
wonderful.
So I've
Rachel's
already
wonderful.
applied that. So
We
we're
see
going to
her
go
on
right
the
ahead and
international
go
meeting
into
sometimes on
foundation.
Thursday.
Now the foundation that
Very,
I
very
really
sweet
love
sister.
is Clinique.
She
This is
loves
the
God. She
Anti-Blemish
loves Christ.
Solutions
She just got
Foundation,
blessed
and this is
to
in the
a very
shade 02
handsome,
Fresh
wonderful
Ivory. It's a
young man
beautiful matte
named
finish.
Laurent, Yves Saint Laurent from France.
Tend to be a little bit
Wonderful
more
young man.
acne-prone
They're a very
skin, that
wonderful
kind of
couple.
thing. And this one also has a bit of salicylic acid, so it actually helps clear up the skin as it's on the skin.
Oh, it's got
Let's just go right
salicylic
ahead and
acid,
start
which
applying
helps
this
with
one.
acne.
I'm going to be using
Now-
today a 104 Buffer Brush by Zoeva. This is a
Now she's
beautiful
a real
way to
expert.
buff
Okay,
the
she's a real
foundation
makeup
into the
artist. She's a
skin
real
and have a
expert.
really nice,
And she's
natural
like, you know,
look
she's
and
you know,
finish. So
she
I'm
was
just
like
gonna go
in
right
charge
ahead
of the
and
whole
apply that
makeup
now.
section in the shopping malls in Australia. Okay, you go, girl. Do your thing. Do your thing.
So after you've buffed that into
Now-
the skin, what we want
now,
to next use is concealer.
I gotta
This
ask
is
Rachel, and maybe
Clinique's
she, I
Anti-Blemish
don't know, maybe she's
Solutions
watching today,
Matching
maybe the
to
new ones are watching,
Foundation
but I gotta ask her
and this is in the
about
shade
Mary
02.
Kay,
It's a
because
beautiful
Mary Kay
salicylic
is a
acid-based
Christian cosmetic company.
concealer. So it basically
Okay,
turns
and
over
how their
skin
products
cells
are, and whether or not
and,
she, as a
refreshes
professional,
your skin
recommends
whilst
Mary
it's on, and
Kay
also prevents any
because
breakouts.
they are an
So I'm
openly
just gonna go
Christian
again
company.
with my 104 Buffer Brush from
So we
Zoeva
got to get
and
Rachel
apply that
to give her
onto
input
certain
on Mary
areas of
Kay
concern.
and you know how that is.
After that step, I'm going to go in again with the Clinique Anti-Blemish Solutions Foundation and just sandwich the concealer in between the two foundation layers. That gives just an extra adherence and allows for everything to stay in place and be full coverage.
Good, there you go. And you need that full
The next
coverage
product I'm going to be
up
using
in
is
Australia with all that
Clinique's
sun.
All About Eyes Concealer. This is in the shade 0.
I like the sun, but I don't like it that much. I don't want it all freaking 365 days a year.
So you just want it to be a little bit
I enjoy my
brighter,
rain
so
a little
you
bit.
can especially
I
go
enjoy
to
my
the
snow a little bit.
surface.
I enjoy the
So
cloud
this
cover a
high
little bit.
coverage concealer, I'm
Because
going
when
to
you're
put
working
right
outside
here
and
onto
training
the
outside,
eyes and just under
it's
the eye.
much more
I love
refreshing when
using
you
my
got some cloud
fingers to
cover.
apply
Go ahead,
this.
Rachel.
I just rub them together and you get a really beautiful warmth that comes from the skin and from your body heat that allows for this concealer to just melt and blend into your skin.
Chaninkuk makeup. Look at that. She got a little sign. There's a Chaninkuk makeup. There you go, Rachel.
Once that's completed, what I like to then go into is the powder. So this is to set the foundation, make sure that it's kind of got this really nice matte finish.
Fabulous!
Depends on what
Fabulous!
transparent powders, and they will just give you just a transparent finish, but a really velvety finish to the skin. I'm going for something that's a little bit higher coverage and is also matte. So this is called the Stay Matte Sheer Press Powder, and this is oil-free, as are most Clinique products. That's why I tend to steer towards them. If you've got a younger skin
Oil-free,
type,
okay.
you have got oily skin,
Now,
or
boys,
just have
don't
oily
be
skin
stupid, brain
generally,
dead dummies.
it's good to get oil-free
This
products
is
just so
how
you've
you
got
do
foundation
makeup
that stays
professionally.
on throughout
You
the
see
day.
all those
This is in the
Hollywood
shade
stars,
02
how they look
Stay
glamorous
Neutral.
and
I'm
gorgeous.
just going to be using the applicator.
She's
that
a
comes with
professional.
to apply
She's
oil.
doing all the layers of how you do it professionally as
So
a makeup
next up
artist.
is bronzer.
Now, you boys gotta understand this, and don't look at women as shallow if they know how to do this stuff. You have to respect this is an art form.
I've used up most of it, and this is probably my 5th or 6th time repurchasing.
And don't be lying. You like it if your wife looks good and looks beautiful. Don't be bitching and complaining.
To apply it,
You gotta understand this is an art form.
so what we want to do
Go ahead,
is
Rachel.
create a 3. So basically we go here and we go towards the temple and then we go inwards. So it's kind of creating the shape of a number 3 just here. Next, what we want to do
Oh, that's
is
an
bring it to the
interesting
sides
tip.
of the
I like her
nose,
accent.
underneath the
Right
nose,
here,
just on the
here,
top
right
of
here.
the eyelids, and also curving it downward underneath the lip, and also just around the neckline to just bring a bit of
Did
shape
you know that,
into the
Amma?
face.
You do
Gives
like
it
a
more contour,
cup
makes
on the
it more
lip. Did you know that?
defined and chiseled,
I didn't know that.
and just allows for a
You know, the
little
queen
bit
doesn't
more
use so much
face.
foundation,
So I'm gonna go right
different
ahead
type of
and apply those
foundation.
steps now.
But she has flawless
So what
skin.
I next am going to
God
be
has blessed her
using
with
is
like
a Clinique blush.
flawless
This is
skin.
called the Blushing
Did you know that,
Blush
Amma? You do
Powder
brush like that?
So this
Did you
is
know
in the
that?
shade
Like a cup
110
here?
Precious Posy.
You didn't know that,
I'm
right?
going to be using the applicator that comes with. These are antibacterial, the ones by Clinique, and they're really, really beautiful for applying any of their products on. So I really highly recommend them. This color is gorgeous. It's like a
Gorgeous.
kind of medium pink tone with a little bit of shimmer in it. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply that now. When applying, what you want to do is use your 2 fingers, and basically the space in between is to be left without blush, and you can just go right ahead and
Oh, that's
start
interesting.
applying blush
That's
on
very
back
interesting, isn't it?
positions.
You see that? I didn't know that.
Now, once you've carved
I know
that
quite
out,
a bit
you
about
can
ladies'
then just
fashion
go in
and cosmetics
and,
because I have
choose
6
to
freaking
really
sisters,
kind
okay?
of,
All right.
put it it on the
But I
areas
didn't know
that
that.
you feel you like it most. It takes a bit of
She's got all these
experimentation
little
with your
tips
crochet,
And
to
tricks.
get what the best result is for you. But I like to go up a little bit, almost into the temple, just to give a nice flush of colour. And I'm just going to be repeating that on the other side. So the
Yeah,
next
that
step
really
is
brightens
highlight.
up the cheeks,
this is
doesn't
quite
it?
a new concept in makeup. It's been around for maybe 5-6 years at this stage that I know of, and it's something that really helps bring the points of the face, kind of work with that contour and just bring a highlight to contrast it. So what I like to do is I like to get this 222 Zoeva Luxe All Over Shader and basically go into this. This is called the
222
Stiletto
All Over
eyeshadow.
Luxe
And
Shader.
you can use an actual highlight for this, but I love this eyeshadow for going all over the face. So
Glamorous,
I'm just gonna use
glamorous.
this 222 brush and show you where to
Rachel.
apply. So we go on the inner corners of the eyes here.
She's probably
and that will
watching
just help
now.
open up the eyes.
They're probably
And
watching,
then we go
laughing
underneath the brow
at the
bone here.
commentary.
Just shade it across and make sure that you're buffing
She's a real
it.
professional. Look at her.
And then
She's
you go
really
on
professional.
the tip of the nose, just with a little
You know,
bit
that's hard to do
light-handed,
on yourself,
and just
I've
use
heard.
your fingers if you've
It's much
kind of
easier to
used
do it
a
on
little
somebody
bit too
else.
much. And then over the cupid's bow, we just apply a little bit there. This will bring the points of the lip up so that your lips look more full and voluptuous.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you know
The
that?
next point
Did you know
and
that?
this is
You
the
guys didn't know
last
that,
point,
right?
is on
That's
the
interesting.
tops of
I
the
never seen that. They
cheekbones.
highlight the
So
cupid's
you can
cleft there.
just Go
Did you
right
know
through
that?
there
I
and
didn't know
create
that.
that.
That's a really
beautiful
important detail.
highlight. And if you want to use it elsewhere, if
Yeah,
you
there's
have
a
a
lot
dry
of-
skin
there's a lot of
type,
artistry
you can go
involved
with
in
less shimmery highlighters, more glossy kind of highlighters on the chin, on the forehead, around the temples, if you so wish. But I just like to end it there and move on to the next product.
End
So
it
what we're going to go
there?
into next is eyelid primer. This is from Too Faced. It's called Shadow Insurance. It's a 24-hour anti-crease eyeshadow primer. The same with the base that we used within the start. This will help all eyeshadows or eye products to adhere to the eyelids. And you can even put it under the eye if you're going for more of a smoky look. However, today I'm doing something a little bit more natural, so I'm just going to use it on the top of the eyelids.
She's
I'm
passionate.
going in with this
She's passionate about cosmetic
brush
arts.
by Zoeva and just applying just a little bit to the eyelids. Once that's completed,
There you go. Look at her. She actually did editing to the video, like fast forwarding and everything too.
As well. It's called the chocolate bar, and it actually smells like
And she was
chocolate.
quick.
It's a
She
beautiful,
banged this
beautiful
out real
palette.
fast.
It's got a highlight.
As soon as I
shade
mentioned
in
them
it
on the
as
King's
well.
Report, boom,
So
she
just down here, that's more
like
of a pink highlight. So what I'm going to be using is
She has
the
initiative.
221 Luxe Soft Crease Brush, and I'm going to take the lightest color, which is called White Chocolate. So I'll just hold it up here. It's this one here, and what I'm going to be doing is going under the brow bone. I'm also going to be going on the center of the eyelids.
Wow, so that
The
helps
next shade
bring
I
out
need is
the
a transition shade.
center
so
of the
I'm going to
eyelid.
be using salted
Very
caramel
interesting
just here.
detail.
It's a very warm tone, and I'm just going to be going over my crease line just here and developing a little bit more depth. And I love this color. It is so warm and so wearable for any season. Really make sure you blend and work with the color. You either want to go in windscreen wiper motions or you want to go round and round, just buffing that out. So buffing it into the eyelid. Using that same brush, I'm then going to go into a color called Milk Chocolate, which is just this one here. It's slightly darker. I'm going to mix it with Semi-Sweet and create a little bit of definition both in the outer corner here and the inner corner here. That's going to bring up the high points of the eye to really make it look really defined, wide awake, and give you a more natural kind of finish.
That's wonderful.
I'm
It's
then
so
gonna be
great.
taking a
I was
230
getting,
Luxe
I was
pencil
telling
brush
E.
from
Young the other day, I
Zoeva
said,
again,
don't dress
and
like a
going into
freaking
this
grandma
shade
after you got married. I was like,
here,
how
and
come
just
she,
start
the Queen was saying that I was saying something about her, right?
just here.
Because
So
she
you
don't wear,
really
she
have
not,
that
she comes
strong
Korean service, she
definition
don't
going
wear makeup, she didn't even dress nicely.
So after you've completed
And then
that,
so,
you can go into
so she
any
said,
of
the Queen said to her,
medium kind
the
of
King is saying
tones,
something
and just
about
go
you.
underneath the eye area
And then she was like,
with the
oh,
230
you know, I used to wear a lot more
so
makeup
we'll
before I
be
was
doing
married,
that
but
now.
now that I'm married, you bum! What's wrong with you? Don't do that. When you're married, you gotta look more beautiful. You gotta make these liberal lunatics jealous, you dummies. You guys look more, you gotta look more glamorous after you get married.
Going back into this triple
It's of course for your husband, for God. Although, but look your best. You can nothing wrong with looking your best. Nothing wrong with looking glamorous, not learning how some artistry skills.
To look a little bit more natural.
Don't be a freaking grandma as soon as you get married. Okay, yes, I used to do makeup all the time, but now that I'm married, I'm gonna dress like a freaking grandma. That's how you get old real quick. That's how you get like to these Western women who are 40 years old and they're that fat and they're wearing around sweatpants all day saying, why don't you think I'm beautiful?
Brow artist sculpt. And then so I'm going to
Give me a break. Take care of your damn self. Work out.
It's kind
Get
of
some
a
damn
brush
sit-ups
on
there,
the top
push-ups there, and
and,
pull-ups there.
A doe foot applicator on the bottom.
Cam-
So I'll just go right
I'm
ahead
telling.
and apply that and teach you
Focus.
how. So what we're going to be doing
Focus.
is brushing through the eyebrows themselves, and this has product in it.
There you go.
So this is going to give it
This
them
boy's on
bit
training
more
a little bit.
sculpting power. And then I'm just going to be using the doe foot applicator at the end. And
There you
just
go, Rachel. You go,
elongating
girl.
the eyebrows just a
You
little
go. Celebrate.
And then I'm going to go back
Celebrate some Chanyugo glamour, glamour, girl.
with my Sculpt
That's it.
brush
Celebrate
and
it
just
with your
carve out
Australian
my
accent.
and repeat on the other side.
Yeah, that's
As
wonderful.
was aforementioned, the plumper is next. So a nice full brow is in fashion at the moment, but it is a timeless thing. So
Actually,
if
she
you
loves
have
God.
a
She loves
replumped,
Christ.
or if you
She
feel
has
like
a
you wanna
wonderful
grow
voice.
out your
She
eyebrows,
sings in a praise and
allow
worship
them to
group.
just do their thing.
And,
Maybe consult a professional
she's very
to see
talented
how they would shape
in many
your
different art
brows
forms,
and continue
musically.
doing it yourself from there on.
I didn't even know,
However,
cosmetically.
I
She
don't
actually has a
really touch my
YouTube
brows
channel
too much. I just let
that she
them
was doing
be
videos
and
on makeup like
basically just go
2012 or
with
something like that.
products
She
and
showed one
try
at
to
2011,
create
right?
more
Had like
natural
20,000
finish. So
views.
this is the plumper, and I'm going to be showing you
So
how
she
to
has a
use
very
this.
popular
Basically,
makeup
this
channel
has
in Australia, I
tiny little
guess.
fibers inside that help with the
And she
volume
is,
and the amount of hairs that you have.
You know, and a lot of
in your
young women
eyebrows, which,
are watching her
is always
tutorials.
helpful when you're trying to create more of
That's
a full
wonderful.
natural kind of brow. So I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that on the other side. Now the final stage of the eyes is the eyelashes.
Her dad is Australian, and her mom is Japanese.
Their whole range is really amazing. They have lips, they have highlighters, they have mascaras, all different kinds of fun products that you can get your hands on. I've just got a manicure.
Fun products!
curly
Hey, girl,
eyelash
ain't nothing
curl.
wrong about
Usually
fun.
high-end ones are
She's
little
a
bit
beautiful
better.
married woman
However,
who can
this is
celebrate
just
and have
run-of-the-mill
fun
kind of
in the
drugstore
kingdom of
brand.
Chanyugu
So you should
with
have
God
no problems
and the
there.
three kingships.
What I'm going to do is now just print the
Praise
eyelashes
God!
several
You ain't gotta
times
look
on
like
each
nuns.
side, and then I'm going to
You ain't gotta look like
a coat or two coats
burqa
of
wearing
the,
jihadis.
And this one is in the shade 01 Jumbo Jet. So I'll just be doing that now.
Oh, Lord.
Her channel is called
So that's the
Clingy
lashes
LT
finished.
Girls.
Next we're moving on to lips.
She starts
This
like,
is by Chi Chi.
hey, it's
This
Rachel,
sold
your
in
girl.
Australia. I'm not sure about
Hi,
international,
Rachel, your
but it is
girl.
a beautiful, beautiful company that is found usually
Hey,
at
girl.
drugstores,
Hi,
department
girl.
stores,
Hi,
that
girl.
kind of thing. And this is called
All right,
Super
girl.
Matte. The shade is Talk to the Hand. So this is a beautiful matte lipstick. It's a liquid lipstick. So it
What a
comes,
transformation.
again,
Isn't that
with the
amazing?
applicator, and,
Isn't that
I'm just gonna
amazing?
Go right ahead and apply this
What a
no
wonderful
liner.
transformation.
And that is the color there. It has throws of terracotta in it, which is quite nice. I find.
I
that
told
quite
her,
nice
hey,
in
Rachel,
complexion to match
when you
with
guys
the
are here next
more
time, that's
natural
when we should
kind
do
of
the
eye.
photo shoot.
So the
Because
next
we
step
should
I'm going
really
to be
glam out the
into
girls.
is Clinique's
Get them
long-last
full
glosswear.
decked out
This is the
Hollywood
shade
hair
28
and makeup,
devoted, and this is a
eyelash
beautiful gloss.
extensions,
It's
you
just gonna
name
finish
it.
off the
Get
look
the whole
and
9
really
yards.
polish it off.
And then get that
so
studio, get
once
the
we've
reflective
finished with
light,
the look,
get
what
some
we
cool
wanna do is
pictures in
lock it down.
gis
This is
and,
called
you know,
the
jujitsu
Deep
outfits,
Urban Decay
you know,
makeup
and
setting spray.
cool
This is an oil
postures and
control one, which is really
get some
great.
cool pictures
What I'm
with
gonna be doing is
with
just
knife
spraying it all over
training,
the face.
get
This
some
is
cool
just gonna
pictures
set
with
everything so it
trapping,
doesn't budge
with
throughout
knife
the
eskrima
day,
stuff,
and it
Kali
also
eskrima,
helps with oil
and
control.
also get
So
some
let's
cool
just go ahead and
pictures.
do that now.
You know, get their arms oiled up so you can
that's
see some of the
finished look.
definition they're
I
building
really
with the
enjoyed
pull-ups.
this tutorial. I really enjoyed making it.
And
for you.
get some pictures also doing our tactical firearm, all
Thank you so
tough
much.
mudder,
Bye.
dirtied out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, all right, Rachel Newman. Great job, honey, great job. Awesome, very sweet. Wow, she acted so fast. She acted quick, you know, she has initiative, I like that. That was wonderful. Thank you, Rachel, for that wonderful contribution. Wasn't that wonderful, Tim?
Yes,
Did you
it
see
was.
that? That was wonderful. And of course, when they come, hopefully to the United States, both of them can train with us and also get a little down and dirty, but at the same time, you know, do some fun tutorials, get the queen and get the girls all made up with the beautiful makeup artistry, some wonderful eyelash extensions, and we'll get some cool photo shoots with them kicking some ass straight, looking glam at the same time. We'll be right back after this short break.
here at the range today. I just learned a new technique from the father of the .44 Magnum, Elmer Keith, which is called shooting out of the notch, which allows you to make really long distance shots and still have an extremely precise sight picture. So I brought my CW9 car down, and with this little gun, we're gonna shoot this little munchkin at 200 yards up in the hills, applying this technique, and hopefully we'll make the shot. To apply this technique, instead of using the blade of the front sight lined up with the top of the rear sight, I'm going to take the dot of the front sight and raise it up so that it's out of the notch, but I'm still going to keep the front sight on my target. Bringing that front sight up like that is going to compensate for the bullet drop over that excessively long distance with just this little gun. So if applied right, we should be making contact. Let's see how it goes. Oh, that's perfect. I saw this shot, so I'm a little bit out of breath because you gotta run to make sure that that is what I thought it was, and it was. So while making this shot, from that distance with these white dot sights, it literally would cover the entire target. You couldn't see what you were shooting. So using the Elmer Keith technique, you were able to raise it out of the back notch. I can't breathe. Out of the back notch, allowing you to keep your accuracy, aim, and also still see the target, which is key because it was a hard shot, not gonna lie. But yeah, it went great, and Elmer knows what he's talking about. And for such a small gun to be able to take that hit, I'm very impressed with this. All right, guys, be sure to like and share, and I'll see you out on the range.
That was awesome. Hey, can I try that one? Yeah, let's see with the 380. Does everybody have eyes and ears?
I'm down here at the range today. I just learned a new technique from the father of the .44 Magnum, Elmer Keith, which is called shooting out of the notch, which allows you to make really long distance shots and still have an extremely precise sight picture. So I brought my CW9 car down, and with this little gun, we're gonna shoot this little munchkin at 200 yards up in the hills, applying this technique, and hopefully we'll make the shot. To apply this technique, instead of using the blade of the front sight lined up with the top of the rear sight, I'm going to take the dot of the front sight and raise it up so that it's out of the notch, but I'm still going to keep the front sight on my target. Bringing that front sight up like that is going to compensate for the bullet drop over that excessively long distance with just this little gun. So if applied right, we should be making contact. Let's see how it goes. Oh, that's perfect. I saw this shot, so I'm a little bit out of breath because you gotta run to make sure that that is what I thought it was, and it was. So while making this shot, from that distance with these white dot sights, it literally would cover the entire target. You couldn't see what you were shooting. So using the Elmer Keith technique, you were able to raise it out of the back notch. I can't breathe. Out of the back notch, allowing you to keep your accuracy, aim, and also still see the target, which is key because it was a hard shot, not gonna lie. But yeah, it went great, and Elmer knows what he's talking about. And for such a small gun to be able to take that hit, I'm very impressed with this. All right, guys, be sure to like and share, and I'll see you out on the range.
That was awesome. Hey, can I try that one? Yeah, let's see with the 380. Does
Does everybody have eyes and ears? I'm down here at the range today. I just learned a new technique from the father of the .44 Magnum, Elmer Keith, which is called shooting out of the notch, which allows you to make really long distance shots and still have an extremely precise sight picture. So I brought my CW9 car down, and with this little gun, we're gonna shoot this little munchkin at 200 yards up in the hills, applying this technique, and hopefully we'll make the shot. To apply this technique, instead of using the blade of the front sight lined up with the top of the rear sight, I'm going to take the dot of the front sight and raise it up so that it's out of the notch, but I'm still going to keep the front sight on my target. Bringing that front sight up like that is going to compensate for the bullet drop over that excessively long distance with just this little gun. So if applied right, we should be making contact. Let's see how it goes. Oh, that's perfect. I saw this shot, so I'm a little bit out of breath because you gotta run to make sure that that is what I thought it was, and it was. So while making this shot, from that distance with these white dot sights, it literally would cover the entire target. You couldn't see what you were shooting. So using the Elmer Keith technique, you were able to raise it out of the back notch. I can't breathe. Out of the back notch, allowing you to keep your accuracy, aim, and also still see the target, which is key because it was a hard shot, not gonna lie. But yeah, it went great, and Elmer knows what he's talking about. And for such a small gun to be able to take that hit, I'm very impressed with this. All right, guys, be sure to like and share, and I'll see you out on the range. That was awesome. Hey, could I try that one? Yeah, let's do it with the 380. Does everybody have eyes and ears?
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report this Friday, August 4th, 2017. I am your host, Hyungju Sean Moon, the second king of Cheongguk. And now as we prepare to get Alfred Karam joining us from Lebanon on, let's go to our fun Facebook picture of all the ninjas training. Hey, there we go. Go ahead. Get that picture up. Everybody getting down and dirty. Hey! Ah! Look at that. You see that picture, Tim? Very cool, very cool. Everybody getting down there, everybody all muddy from training. We're training outside, hitting them. Zoom in on everybody, zoom in on them. Let me see everybody's face here. Let's see everybody's face. There you go. Hey! Hey, there's everybody. Hey, look at them. Hey, look at that. There's Seeberger, right? Hey, there's Panzer. Who's that? Who's that, Panzer? That's you, Panzer. And then the other girl's back. Who's that? Who else is back there? Who's that? Is that Mickey? That's Julie. There's Julie. And was that Emo? That's Emo? All right, everybody down and dirty, getting muddy, training outside. Go on the other side. Go on the other side, too. Who's that? There's Christina. There's Christina. There's Kayong. Kayong Shia. All right. Hey, there's Gideon. He looks like Gladiator over there, huh? he looks like Marcus Aurelius. I just gotta see his abs now. All right, there you go. There's some tough mutters. All right, very cute, very cute. Good training. We had a good training on Thursday. What was that? Wednesday night. We had a good training on Wednesday night. We had another good training on Thursday. More training and hitting those pull-ups, banging them out. There we go. There's a cute little picture there. Everybody with a serious face. There you go. All right. All right, now let's go to, do we have Alfred on? Or are we still trying to get him on? Okay, let's go now to other news before Alfred comes on so that we at least can see the headlines here.
North Korea wants us to surrender.
North Korea, yes, that is top news. Look at this. Dubai skyscraper fire. Torch Tower residents wake to screams as flames engulf 79-story building. Residents were quickly evacuated with no injuries reported. Huge fire breaks out in Torch Tower. The building is popular with expatriates. Fire brought under control. No injuries reported. And guess what, Tim? The building didn't fall down at gravity speed.
Wow.
Oh, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting, huh? Skyscrapers don't fall down because of fires, hint, hint. Don't light up charcoal grill, burn ban in effect amid Seattle's smoky haze. Washington has a burn ban. You can't even light up a charcoal grill in Washington state today. Stage 1 air quality burn ban. Stage 1 ban is in effect until further notice and is in addition to existing fire safety burn bans, no outdoor burning, including charcoal barbecues, fire pits, chimneys, fire bowls, or similar freestanding devices, campfire bonfires, fire pits, uncertified wood stoves, or uncertified inserts. There you go. Government overreach again. Government overreach again. Look at that. They even banned Native American ceremonial fires outside of tribal lands. They are totally racist white supremacists, Tim, out there in Seattle. Banning poor Native American peoples from making fires outside of their designated slave zone, tribal land zones, which are really government-run zones. That is ridiculous. The Native American people should call them white supremacists and tell the federal government to get out of there and allow people to make barbecues in their backyards. Give me a break. This is ridiculous. In other top news, LA Times reports Amazon king Jeff Bezos expands his domain in Beverly Hills. Look at that bug-eyed, demonic little Dr. Evil from Austin Powers. Look at that monopolist colluder with government getting paid $1.46 per package sent by Amazon, literally hundreds of millions of dollars per day by your federal taxpayer dollars that they stole from you and they give to this bug-eyed Bezos, who we had to order some solar lights from because we couldn't find any other competitive prices at Lowe's, eBay, you name it. It's ridiculous. They gotta use the Federal Antitrust Act laws and break this sucker up. It's ridiculous that we are forced to buy everything from him. Even though I've quit my Prime membership, even though I haven't bought products from Amazon for like a month, but still, we had to go to Lowe's. We had made the drive out to Lowe's to see if they have comparative solar lighting. They don't even have comparative solar lighting, not even close, not even close. Amazon already had ordered it from China, had stocked it in its warehouse, could get it to you within 2 days. Anything on eBay would have to come from China. It'd take 1 month to get here. It's ridiculous. The reason why they get the prices that low is because they are a complete monopoly, colluding with government, cheating in the marketplace, using price fixing to destroy and target their opponents and to destroy competition with lobbying and more regulations that continue to stultify and paralyze the open free market, which Bezos got big in, and now he's trying to snuff out and stamp out of existence because now he's the big kingpin colluding with government, getting paid $1.46 per package, literally hundreds of millions of dollars a day. Ridiculous. That bug-eyed lunatic. And he's an open commie who supports leftist lunatic Soros and you name it, the Bilderberg Group, you name it. He goes to the dang Bilderberg Group. In other news, The Guardian reports former Netanyahu chief of staff in negotiations to become state witness. Benjamin Netanyahu's former chief of staff is reportedly in negotiations to become a state witness, which would make him the second prominent figure to do so in a series of police investigations into the Israeli prime minister and his inner circle. According to widespread reports in the Hebrew media, Ari Haro, for years one of Netanyahu's closest political associates, is in talks with police to give evidence allegedly in exchange for a lesser sentence over accusations of wrongdoing in the sale of his consulting company. Last week, Mickey Gaynor, a businessman and key player in an allegedly corrupt deal to buy submarines from Germany, struck a deal with authorities to become a state witness. Netanyahu has strenuously denied wrongdoing in relation to any of the cases and is not a suspect in the submarine case. However, a series of high-profile investigations have in recent months inched ever nearer to his closest circles, touching on everything from allegations of corruption in arms purchases to the prime minister's attempts to control the Israeli media, and on gifts to him and his family from wealthy benefactors. David Shimron, Netanyahu's lawyer and cousin, has also been questioned over the submarine deal. Shimron has denied any wrongdoing. 3 investigations Netanyahu and his close circle, known as cases 1000, 2000, and 3000, have gripped the Israeli public, prompting almost weekly revelations in domestic media and regular demonstrations outside the home of the country's attorney general, who is accused of acting slowly in his handling of the cases. In political terms, the investigations have shown that Netanyahu's administration is in a deeply unflattering light. A procession of confidants, as well as the prime minister and his wife, Sarah, have been questioned by police. Among a roll call of wealthy Netanyahu backers who have spoken to the police are billionaire casino magnate Sheldon Adelson, Adelson's wife Miriam, and the Hollywood producer Arnon Milchan. Police have also been seeking unsuccessfully to interview the Australian businessman Jane Packer, who, like Milchan, has given gifts to Netanyahu's family. Among the sharpest critics of the way Netanyahu's inner circle has been doing business has been the former Prime Minister Ehud Barak. In a video posted to his Facebook page last month, he asked, "Hasn't the time come to put an end to all of this? Have we all gone crazy?" he said. "Are we suckers who are willing to live with it?" Any cooperation between Haro and the state could potentially hit Netanyahu particularly close to home in Case 2000, which is examining whether the prime minister behaved inappropriately when he allegedly offered the publisher of Israel's biggest selling daily, Yedioth Ahronoth, his help in reducing the readership of the paper's pro-Netanyahu rival, Israel Hayom, in exchange for more favorable coverage. At the center of this case are recordings made of discussion between Netanyahu and Yedioth's publisher, Nino Moses. There you go from Israel. Do we have Alfred on in the Middle East? We have him on? All right, let's bring on Alfred Karam from Lebanon to join us today on the King's Report. He is, of course, a very successful entrepreneur, businessman, free market entrepreneur, very skilled artisan, has a wonderful family, a patriot out there in Lebanon, a strong defender of Christian values and Christian morals and Christian families out there in Lebanon who have been oppressed by Sharia law under Saudi-backed Wahhabism and the funding of Saudi pedophile king, who put in his own people and Sunni Sunni politicians that were turning the country into a hellhole of disaster, terrorism, imploded economy, depressed financial status, and just overall totalitarian, authoritarian censorship and regime. But there is things now that are going on in the Middle East, and particularly in Lebanon, that are hopeful. And we are joined now with, are we joined with him? Do we have him on? Okay, and we are joined now with Alfred Karam. Alfred, can you hear me? Are you joining us from Lebanon? Alfred, are you there? Looks like we have some technical difficulties. We'll let the tech team sort that out in our very quickly dwindling remaining time. As they sort that out, again, sometimes the Skype connection and Zoom connection from Lebanon is not good, as we experienced last time. But in other news, China holds drill to shut down harmful websites. Look at that. And Zuckerberg is helping them to do it. Hong Kong. China held a drill on Thursday with internet service providers to practice taking down websites deemed harmful. That means anything that's critical of the federal government or the totalitarian, authoritarian,
the
collectivist
Communist
regime.
Party.
Or the
Chinese Communist
There
Party.
it is, the Communist Party, which is the owner of the military. As the country censors tighten control ahead of a sensitive 5-yearly political reshuffle set to take place later this year. Internet data centers, IDC, and cloud companies, which host website servers, were ordered to participate in a 3-hour drill to hone their emergency response skills, according to at least 4 participants that include the operator of Microsoft's cloud service in China. China's Ministry of Public Security and Totalitarianism called for the drill in order to step up online security for the 9th Party Congress and tackle the problem of smaller websites illegally disseminating harmful information to the authoritarian, organ harvesting, totalitarian, collectivist, political Satanist, pedophile peddling, child trafficking, human trafficking, Ministry of Defense, which is China, party of the Communist Party, according to a document circulating online attributed to a cyber police unit in Guangzhou. An officer who answered the phone in Guangzhou Public Security Bureau confirmed the drill but declined to elaborate. Xi Jinping has overseen a tightening of China's cyberspace controls, including tough new data surveillance and censorship rules. This push is now ramping up ahead of an expected consolidation of power at the Communist Party Congress this autumn. The drill asks internet data centers to practice shutting down target web pages speedily and report relevant details to the police, including the affected website's contact details, IP address, and server location. China's Cyberspace Administration declined to comment, saying it was not the correct department to address the question to. China's Ministry of Public Security did not respond to a fax request for comment. Several service providers, including 21 VNet Group and VeriCloud, issued notice to users warning of possible temporary service disruptions on Thursday afternoon as a result of the drill, which were confirmed to Reuters by their customer service representatives. NASDAQ listed 21 VNet Group as is China's largest carrier-neutral internet data center services provider, according to its website, and counts many Western multinationals, including Microsoft, IBM, Cisco, and HP among its clients. It runs Microsoft's Azure-based services in China, and of course, Microsoft is complying. 21 VNet Group did not immediately respond to an email request for comment. China has been tightening its grip on the internet, including a recent drive to crack down on the usage of VPNs to bypass internet censorship. You can see the fracturing of the Chinese infrastructure, the Chinese social network, which is promoted and postulated and propagandized in the media as all unified and everybody's one. No, in China there are so many variant groups, so many ethnicities that don't want to be a part of this totalitarian regime, like Tibet, so many different groups who hate the centralized government. But the centralized, everything comes out of China's new media. Everybody's so happy to be red Chinese. Everybody's so happy to be part of totalitarianism. Everybody's so happy to be part of organ harvesting leaders who rape their children. Everybody's happy about slave labor camps that they run to keep the manufacturing prices low and so they can monopolize manufacturing worldwide. Meanwhile, they talk to the UN and promote themselves in front of the Davos Group as the protectors of human rights. Just ridiculous. Absurd, absurd, absurd. We are now joined with Alfred Karam from Lebanon. Alfred, are you there?
Hello, can you hear us? Oh, hello?
Trying to talk, but you may hear me and
There we go. Alfred. Alfred, are you there?
Talking? Let me know.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, we got him. We got him on. Alfred, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, Alfred. Yes, welcome to the King's Report this day from Lebanon, joining us from Lebanon. And we heard that things are changing politically in the Middle East, of course, but also in Lebanon. Can you give a brief report about what is happening in Lebanon in our final 10-minute section? Go ahead, Alfred.
Yes, I will go ahead, and I hope you will hear me well because I'm hearing you okay, but not very clearly. I will be as concise as possible, as honest, as truthful as I see the situation. We were in a hopeless situation in Lebanon because this country is very small. It's influenced by many neighboring countries are powerful, like Israel and like Syria and
Cue picture of Lebanon.
other far remote places. We had a threat, very direct threat of ISIS in Lebanon for the past, say, 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
And we have been left for almost 30 months without a president. The government was running without the head, without a president. And the situation was hopeless.
So how
Yet,
did the Lebanon people
I could
feel when they knew that America was funding and helping arm ISIS? But how do they feel now that President Trump has stopped funding ISIS?
I didn't get you. I'm sorry. I'm hardly hearing clearly the words.
Oh, okay. No, go ahead. Continue, Alfred. Continue, please.
Okay, I will continue. 9 months back, I could clearly witness that a miraculous thing happened in this country when the patriotic retired General Aoun became a president in a very, very unprecedented way. Everybody was against. Saudi Arabia was against. The Arab countries were against. The United States was against.
Wow.
France and Europe were against.
Wow.
And nobody would hope such a man of integrity, of honesty, of a good conduct would be leading this country. Yet, this have happened. If I can't relate this to John Ildod, if I can't relate this to the providence you are directing, then I would be foolish, stupid, and not understand what's going on. So, through the prayers and through your blessing to my country and putting me here, just to observe and just to follow your spirit and to be standing on my feet by my own, I could breathe the hope you have sent. I could breathe the power that has been behind, that God could make unbelievable, unprecedented miracle to this country. Now we are completely on the other side. There is no any more influence of ISIS in Lebanon. The borders have been secured. The country has been in a horrible corruption. Things were going so ugly. We have hope. We have been doing good, and we have been what we say, put on a good ground. I personally have been elected in my town as the mayor of the town. And
wow,
I have
that's
been
great.
in a small,
you hear that? He's been mayor of the town. Amazing. Wow,
and
that's
I
great.
have been, yeah, thank you. I have been working on a small town, and I could see how difficult it is to move a town, because a town is a microcosm of a country.
Yes.
And you have people from all different political and tendencies and different behavior and education. Even though it's difficult, it could give me the taste of how we can influence with only God's blessing. Only when
Wow.
God is putting the word into our brain, putting the word into our hearts, putting us in a situation where we can just stand for the sake of God and for the sake of others, the only thing can change. And that's how I transmit. I feel your presence, and I feel your spirit, and I feel your righteous way pushing here in my small town and in this small country of Lebanon.
Well, we feel your presence. Alfred, you are the patriot. You are the hero. You are standing up in your country, for your people, for your civilization. You are standing on God's side. You're standing on True Father's authority and heaven's authority. And it's because of patriots like you who stood up at the hardest time that God can use that condition to effect that miraculous change. What an amazing, amazing transformation that is happening.
Believe me, I'm getting all of this, the hope and the power is through you, through Father's words and through your conduct. I feel you, even though I am far away, I feel you here around me. I feel your heart, I feel your spirit. I am in love with you. I am in love with what you do. I am in love with Sanctuary Pennsylvania. You can't imagine how much I am moved by what you do and what you say. One word from you, one word from Father is making a big difference because we were in a real hell here, and the transformation is unbelievable, unprecedented.
Well, we love you out in Lebanon, of course, and what you've done. And God is so amazing that we can stand with such honorable heroes as yourself, trying to protect your country, just trying to do anything to make your country have some level of security and safety so that it can pursue sovereignty. I mean, that is, and to be released from the clutches of ISIS. And thank God that you are president there that is now starting to secure the borders, allow for, and he's a Christian, I heard, and allow for free markets to start again, allow people to have sovereignty again. It is people like you on the microcosm, Alfred, that stood with us. It's not just us standing there. It's all of you in the sanctuary. You are also the heroes. You stood with us on the front line. You stood with us in the battle against Satan and the micro to the macro level. You are the ones who are opening up your mouth and preaching to your nation. You are the ones who are bringing God's blessing and seed to your nation. So we commend you. We salute you. All that you're doing out there in Lebanon and all the incredible blessings God is pouring out. We thank you for that incredible report. But we also pray that even if there's hard times and things like that, there's probably going to be lots of backlash on Lebanon, the president, that everybody will remain faithful and strong so that we will get through this time of tribulation and see the kingdom that is coming. Any final thoughts, Alfred?
Let me express my gratefulness to you, to your viewpoint, to the Constitution. I was a Unification Church member for a long time, but I did not understand it clearly unless you have been explaining about sovereignty, about how to hold arms, about how to be defending one's family, defending one's territory. All of this were like far, far notions. But you putting on all of these explanations, you made us real soldiers, and you took away the stupidity out of us. And that's why I'm very, very, very grateful.
Well, thank you, Alfred, so much for joining us from Lebanon. We've got to have you on the broadcast again. That's Alfred joining us from Lebanon. Thank you for that. It's an intense time to be alive. We are seriously in the final time and final judgment. Thank you, Alfred, for joining us once again on the King's Report. We'll definitely have him on again. Unfortunately, we run out of time today, and 3 hours just whizzes by. Tim wants to say real quick. Go ahead, Tim.
Just to explain some background of what Alfred was just saying, that in Lebanon, the president always must be a Maronite Christian. That's by their power-sharing structure. And also the prime minister is always a Sunni Muslim, and a speaker of the parliament is a Shia Muslim. But for the past 2 years, there was a stalemate that they couldn't elect a president. But finally, in October of last year, Aoun was elected president, as Alfred just mentioned, and that has really turned things around in the country. So
that's amazing. That's great. Amazing. Great blessings to Lebanon because of such people of integrity, honor, and people who love their country, who are trying to protect their people, trying to truly live for the sake of others, trying to be guardians of the planet, guardians of their nations, guardians of their communities. I mean, these are the people. These are the type of honorable people that God is using at this time to prepare the culture of Chaniguk, as Chaniguk itself will come and take over the world and free it from the totalitarian collectivism and this political Satanism, and bring it back to God's sovereignty, bring it back to God's children's sovereignty, bring it back to private property, free markets, sovereignty, able to defend yourself, all those things, you name it. Not so that we can glorify and gloat in our success and prosperity, so that we can be grateful to our God who gives us those rights and blessings by his grace, sacrifice, and mercy. We thank you today for joining us on the King's Report, Friday, August 4th, 2017. It may thunderstorm and be a warm one today, but dress appropriately. If you're here with us training, let's train hard today, get our work done today, and every day give the praise, honor, and glory to our Father in heaven. Once again, thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow, 5 a.m. sharp, with Tim Elder leading Saturday, and I'll see you Sunday for service. God bless, Godspeed, and may his kingdom come.
Time, you're my refuge. You heal every scar.